We are good.
We're good. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our November 18th, 2025 Angels Camp City Council meeting. Roll call.
Councilmember Behill.
Aye.
Councilmember
Here.
Sherrod. Or I'm
Here.
sorry, Vice Mayor Sherrod.
Here.
Mayor Shemente.
Here.
Councilmember Scott.
Here.
And Councilmember Brolio.
Present.
Would you please all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was really good.
Glad you're in school again.
It does. Item number 3, approval of the agenda as posted or amended. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I have no changes unless you would like to have the senator's representative speak before the introduction of the officer.
Yes, please. So any other changes from the public? Any other changes from council? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to
I'll second.
The
Okay, there's
amended
been a
agenda.
motion and a second. Any other comments? Any other comments from the community? Hearing none. Michelle, wherever you are back here.
Yep. Behill.
Aye.
Sherrod.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, we have 2 presentations. One from Valerie Spate, who is District Representative for Senator Marie Alvarado Beal, to make some comments. Valerie, turn your mic on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Before I start, I want to thank Fire Chief over there for hosting me today, as well as all the other firefighters that were here today. It's been great to hold our mobile office hours from here. They were great. They were accommodating. Anyway, we had a lot of great conversations. So again, thank you for that. I'm going to be really brief because I think we've got a lot of people here who have a lot to say. So I think I picked a great night to come and do a quick report out for the senator. So I have been going around to various cities and counties that the senator represents. I work for her in Inyo County, which is way down in Death Valley, and her district goes all the way up to Truckee and over to Merced. So we cover a lot of ground. I go to city council meetings, I go to board of supervisor meetings, try to get a feel for what's going on in the community by doing mobile office hours. We talked about some tough issues today. And so it's a great way to get out and just find out what the issues are. And we all know the issues that are facing rural counties, like fire insurance. Anyone here is having an issue with fire insurance? Okay. So anyway, so thank you for allowing me to just take a few minutes. And if I don't read my notes, I know I'm going to forget something. So this week I'm holding 3 mobile office hours. One was here today, and the next one is tomorrow at the Arnold Library from 10 to 12. I will be in Murphy's, the Murphy's Library on Friday from 12 to 3. So if you know anybody who wants to come out and talk about things, I am available. I also have business cards. I also have business cards if anyone wants one. And just to kind of give an update on what the senator is doing, you may have heard she had a town hall. We dealt with the grape grower issue that's facing Calaveras County. It's also being hit hard in Amador County, El Dorado County. So we held a town hall. She has asked for the select committee with the California wine industry to hold a hearing to address those issues. There's a lot of things that are happening with wine grape growers. There's a lot of changes that they talked about. I won't get into that here, but we're looking to see if there's anything that can be done on the state side. She's also been working on the FAIR plan. There's a bill that she supported, AB 226, the FAIR Plan Stabilization Act. So we're going to see what happens with this legislative session as far as this bill and others to give relief to homeowners. Lots of work needs to happen, as I've been talking with the fire chief in this county and other counties regarding fire mitigation. I don't know if you know Bob Moody, been talking to him about the fire breaks. There's a lot that has to happen with fire mitigation in the state. So if anyone has any bill ideas, I heard some today from Louise regarding education, and we had great conversation as well as with the other superintendents in Calaveras. So if you have any legislative ideas, now's the time to send them over to our office. And if you just need to reach out to me, go to the website. I'm here for a few minutes and then I've got to hit the road. But anyway, I appreciate the opportunity. I just want to say that talking to some of these kids behind me, they are the future of America. It's such a great group of kids in Calaveras County. So anyway, I wish I could be here to hear that conversation. Thanks again, I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to Chief Scott Ellis, introduction.
I don't know if I can do my way over there. Packed house today. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for allowing us to gather today. As part of this, we're introducing a new officer with the Angels Camp Police Department. Before I do that, I just want to recognize my officers that are back in the back there. On the left is Officer Jody McDermott, Sergeant Steve Portenga, and Officer Joe Linneo. This is our new officer, Andrew Nuss. Andrew Nuss is local to Calaveras County. He graduated from Bret Harte High School in 2020, which is kind of scary to me. But we're super excited to have him. Andrew's was very appealing to me when he submitted his application. He's a very adventurous type. Since graduating high school, he spent some time in Alaska working during the summer. He worked in South Lake Tahoe on a yacht and a galley for a summer, I believe. And he's also spent some time working in Texas. And then found his way back here, decided he wanted to take the path of becoming a police officer. We picked him up while he was in the police academy, and he's been with us since then. He graduated the police academy on October 16th, and part of the graduation ceremony is they give awards to students that exceed standards. He received the Top Gun Award, meaning he was the highest in his academy class in the firearms field, which we're lucky to have that skill set with us. Andrew started his field training program on October 17th, the following day, and he's been with us since. We expect him to complete his field training program and be out as a solo officer sometime in January. Fingers crossed. And I just want to give Andrew just a second to introduce himself.
Howdy folks, as he already said, I'm a new officer, Andrew Nuss. I'm familiar with the community and the area, and I look forward to serving everybody. When I was in the academy, I was adamant about working for Angels Camp, just because it's a place I know and love and hold close to my heart. So thank you guys for letting me be the newest officer, and I look forward to serving you all.
Victor, fantastic.
Thank you, Scott, and all the officers for what you folks do on a daily basis. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to move on to item 5, public comment. The public may address the council on any item of public interest not otherwise on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the city. No action may be taken. Matters to be addressed may be referred to city staff or placed on a subsequent meeting agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes per person. So is there anyone present who is here tonight to talk about an item that is not on our agenda? If so, please step to the podium and state your name. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Louise Simpson, Superintendent, and I just wanted to thank Administrator Williams and the council and Mayor Chimeni for the work with Caltrans. I'm into adventure sports, but driving the streets of Angel Camp is not one of them. So on behalf of my students and their safety, I thank you for that work. So that's why I'm here tonight.
Thank you. I can't say anything. Okay. Yeah, but we can talk later. Would you like to make a comment? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Patricia Harkins, I live in Angels. I have a problem. I walk around downtown. I do it a lot. I do it at different times, mostly early in the morning. One thing I've noticed a lot, and I noticed it again today when I was looking at the frog monuments. The leaves, the dirt. Why would tourists want to stop their car when they see dirty sidewalks, trash in the street, on the sidewalks, leaves all over the place in the street? I mean, it's just pathetic. And it's been there for a while. Don't tell me it's rained, they're stuck, we can't do much. Those leaves, that dirt has been there for a long time. No one's come down and cleaned downtown. The trash bins, I don't know who's responsible for emptying them, but a lot of times they're overflowing with trash just hanging out. And it's like, I want to walk by and bring a black bag with me and kind of take some of the trash, to my house and put it in my trash can, so people don't just try and shove more in there. It's really pathetic, and I don't want to see that, but I honestly don't think that anyone would want to stop in a town that when they drive down, it just looks plain dirty and a mess and like it's unkempt and not cared for. It really bothers me. And I've been walking for quite a few months now, and it's been the same for all of that time. And I just hope someone can delegate who's ever responsible for that and possibly put it on their list of something to do. Get downtown cleaned up so when someone drives down, the lights are lit up or it just looks welcoming. Right now, it doesn't. I wouldn't stop and pull over and then get out and just step in a mess of leaves and walk and see cigarette butts or trash or an overflowing trash can so I can't throw what I have away. It's just not, I don't feel it's acceptable, and I don't know how it got this way, but I hope the council can find a way of fixing the problem. The other thing, the other thing is the pipe along the creek bridge right here by the north and south bridge, okay? There's a pipe on the west side, no, the east side. It's rusting. I've done it twice, and I've been talked to and told the money's been allocated, the job order's been done. Nothing's been done with that pipe. With the rain and the time that's gone by, the rust is getting worse. I just don't like it. That pipe feeds something and it goes towards where I live, and that rust is getting worse. And I don't know if that pipe can last another winter without the rust increasing and just making it a bigger problem than if it was replaced sooner than later. And I look at that pipe almost every night. I just lean over the bridge and go, oh, nobody's been here yet. There's my pipe, there's my rust. And so that's the other thing that I just really have a problem with. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
My name is Gina Gonzalez, and I would run for the city council, but because I'm in a rural area, I cannot. I guarantee you I would have ran if I could. I believe in what you guys do. I live out in Bar 20, so I'm not in the city. But I have a couple of issues. If you call Angels Camp ACPA, has any of you guys on the city council called them lately? I don't understand the voicemail message. It sounds like a 12-year-old. That's not representing us good, okay? I'm an outsider looking in going, whoa, okay? So I think somebody should get on there adult-like and make a corrected voicemail message. It sounds horrible. Another thing I'm complaining about is also with her, the leaves in downtown. Went to the theater the other night, almost slipped and fell on my butt. It's ridiculous. Get a pressure washer out there once every 2 weeks would be great. The item number 3 is I'm a representative for Toys for Tots, and I want to thank every single person that has supported us. We've done a really good job this year. Maybe last year was a lot better. but our economy is gonna be even more this year. We're doing a December 2nd cutoff. If you see the boxes around, please fill them. Go buy a little toy, something small. The kids that are affected there's a lot.
What's the deadline for that again?
December 2nd is the deadline. I'm picking up all the boxes in Angels Camp and in Copper on the 2nd of December. I had a event at Calaveras Lumber. I brought in $461 in donations in cash for the special needs children. The Marine Corps is a sponsor of it, and so the Marine Corps doesn't recognize or see or understand about special needs kids. And so we take the cash that we get and we go and buy these toys for them out of our funds. So anything you guys can do would be great. And December 2nd is our cutoff. And Giving Tuesday is also an issue. We're doing a luau at the Chamber of Commerce, and we will be there with a raffle prize and a booth. So,
I do have one question. I know you can drop off at Shorty's.
yes, you
I think at
can.
Calaveras Telephone you can drop off. Is there any other places around Angels that?
Yes, Angels Camp is Calaveras Telephone, and Calaveras Lumber, you
Okay.
can. Shorty's, you can. There's like 4 spots here in Angels Camp.
The bank.
The bank, you can. There's
Edward Jones has moved to.
Edward Jones,
Unexpected.
yeah.
Alright.
They were a big
He has a
donor
box up
too.
there.
But
Thank you.
if you want to go on the website, they're all listed.
Perfect,
In Copper, I
thank
put 19, last year there was 5. So we're hoping for good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Trying to find Michelle. Michelle, anyone online have a public comment?
No comments online.
Okay, thank you. So then we will close our public comment and move on to item 6, consent items. We have 2 approved draft minutes of November 4th, 2025, and AP checks and treasury report October 2025. Does any council person would like to pull an item? And any member of the public like to pull one of those consent items? Hearing none. Would anybody online, Michelle?
No questions online.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any discussion from the public? Hearing none. Anyone online, Michelle?
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Behill,
Aye.
Sharado,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Moving on to our action items, 7A, Resolution 25-87, Appeal of October 9th, 2025. Planning Commission decision approving Resolution 25-15, finding of architectural conformity and conditional use permit for pastoral offices and community education center. So just so that folks understand, there will be a time for public comment. We're going to hear a staff report, that we're going to ask questions. We're either going to hear from our attorney, and we will open up the public comment once we do some of those steps. So we'll start with, where did Amy go? Oh,
She wailed.
We'll start with Amy.
Did you want to do that or ex parte?
I do need to add, council members will disclose any ex parte communications they have had with anyone related to the project. We recommend council members explain that even though they have had an ex parte communication, they will remain impartial during the hearing and base their decisions on the evidence presented during the hearing.
It's ex parte.
That's if you had a conversation with the parties involved.
Okay, I just asked, I didn't know.
No, I'm just sharing.
I'm not to respond.
Okay?
Want to start it?
Yeah,
I'll
Scott.
start. Yeah, I have ex parte communication with Gretel Piscornia, Debbie Ponte, and Brooke Mose. And my mind, I'm impartial at this point, and I'm looking forward to some lively discussion.
I too have had conversations with Brooke Mose and Gretel Tiscornia, and I am also very impartial and looking forward to hearing from everybody.
I have been approached, but I chose not to communicate. At this time, I've waited for the hearing, and obviously I have an open mind and looking forward to the discussion.
I have spoke with Marin, and I have spoke with Mr. Mose, both of them, and I am here to listen, have no impartiality, and here to listen to the discussion.
Same thing here, impartial, and I have spoke to Mr. Mose this evening real quick for a minute, and that's all I have at the moment.
So at this point, Amy, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm just gonna zip through the timeline and answer a couple questions that I've been asked specifically to answer. Basically, on May 5th is when the project site was put up for sale. And in late June, Cascadel's restaurant closed. And I wanted to pass along that the hood and all the stainless steel tanks in the restaurant are still there. They took away the refrigerator and the stove. It could still be reverted back to a restaurant according to the landowner who I have talked to. On October 9th, the Planning Commission voted 4-0 to approve a conditional use permit for high school students, church offices, community education, music lessons. 18 conditions were included as a condition of project approval by the planning commissioner. And the chairman of our planning commissioner is here tonight in case you have any questions of the planning commissioners. Basically, I'll go over 4 of the conditions. There were life safety inspections conducted by our building department. Those have been completed. They had to recharge some fire extinguishers, not a surprise, and they are installing a manual fire alarm. There are marked exits, the usual type of thing you would need for health and safety. There are noise limits placed on the project in accordance with the general plan of 70 decibels. Per Caltrans, the required drop-off and pickup is behind the building in the parking lot. Caltrans preferred that it not be on the highway, and no loitering on the front sidewalk. So that's basically the main conditions that were at all different from the norm. The item was appealed on October 17th, citing the 3 things that I'm going to go over very briefly. Inconsistency with the intent of the historic commercial zone, inconsistency with the general plan economic development policy, and I'll briefly talk about parking. For the intent of the historical commercial zone, the appellant is not incorrect that it is an historical commercial district intended for commercial facilities that would attract tourism. However, the actual stated intent includes that and servicing the city and the county in the historic district. Those are also stated intents. So it's sort of a mixture. As you will note by the multiple types of uses that are downtown. Obviously, we have gyms, post offices, therapists, chiropractors, salons, Oddfellows halls, lots of retail, and some restaurants. Relative to economic development, the general plan policy, that one of the ones that was cited was 10A1, which the actual statement says it encourages a mixture of uses and activities to maintain the vitality of the downtown district. Again, a mixture, yes, economic development for tourism, but also keeping it as a living downtown city. Specific questions that were asked about parking. I just wanted to bring back up to any of you who were not on the council in 2019 that we did an extensive update to the code specifically for parking in the historic commercial district because nobody could do development in the historical commercial district because of parking without having to take down one of the historic buildings or significantly alter it. And this came to a head with the Utica Hotel, which needed to, you would think, add a whole bunch of parking because they were adding a whole bunch of uses, additional stories. So we actually changed it so that if you stay in the same footprint and you go non-residential to non-residential, you do not have to put in additional parking. That is one of the reasons we have brought 3 different parcels to the city council that have been added to the city's property, all for parking downtown. The question also came up about, will the school prevent the issuance of an ABC license downtown should there be a new restaurant? ABC licenses are for liquor, beer, wine. The answer to that question is there is a law that would make it appear that the answer is yes. The Business and Professions Code says you can, that the ABC is authorized to refuse to issue a permit. So I called the ABC and asked the person who issues the permits, I said, what does that mean, you're authorized? She basically said, it's just like the process you have in town already. We notify property owners. If somebody opposes, we add conditions to the permit to allow it to proceed. It is not usual that they will deny a permit because of it. They will do exactly as we do. They will take about as long as we do to do it in order to do that. Obviously, Mountain Mike's Golden Frog would be in big trouble if that weren't the case. So basically, I'm going to start by saying you have three options in front of you. One is to deny the appeal, which would maintain the school. So it's really difficult here. You deny the appeal, uphold the school with the conditions as provided by the Planning Commission. 1. 2, you change the conditions, deny the appeal, uphold the school. Or 3, you uphold the appeal, you approve the appeal, deny the school, in which case if you take that third option, the city attorney has asked that you return that to staff so that we can prepare the appropriate findings. And I'm going to defer to the city attorney. I'll go back to you and the city attorney can elaborate further. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from Amy? Before you?
No.
No? Scott? Kara? Okay. And now we'll hear from our city attorney.
Okay, lawyers usually talk too much and start with the boring stuff, so I'm going to try and cut to the chase on this one and make it as understandable as possible. We have local, state, and federal laws, right? And at each level, the next one trumps the lower one. So we're local, we have state in between, and then federal. So then the federal law would trump our local law. And in this case, we have federal law known as the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Person Act. And again, I won't read all the boring details about that. But in essence, it gives a religious institution such as this some, lack of a better term, extra rights. So as I understand it, the main opposition is based on preserving this for revenue generation. So what does the case law say? So the courts then interpret the law based on things as they come up. So the case law here says that protecting commercial property for revenue generation is not a compelling interest sufficient to justify denying a permit to a religious facility when denial imposes a substantial burden on the religious facility. Goes on to say, courts have stated if local governments were allowed to deny permits to religious facilities based on concerns related to revenue generation alone, municipalities could exclude all religious institutions from their cities. And that, of course, wouldn't be lawful. So I'm just going to talk about one fact of why is this a substantial burden on the applicant in this case. And they've stated in a letter from their attorney that it's applicable here because denial of the use of the property needed by the school would impose an onerous difficulty on the church in view of the positive lack of available properties in the area. In sum, the church cannot carry out its mission regarding ministry to youth, absence use of the building in question. So with that, unless you have any other questions, I have nothing to add this time.
Any other council? Yeah, any questions for Tom? Okay. We are now going to open up the public hearing. We'll start with the appellant, who may present their comments, testimony, or argument. Is there someone who's going to speak on behalf of the appellants?
What's an appellant?
It's the person who filed the appeal.
Be against.
There's more than one. There's more than one.
Only, there's more than one of us.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I'll go.
Well, somebody has to start.
I will start.
So someone has to start. Would you please go up to the podium and state your name?
My name is Julie Julie Douglas.
Julie, put your mic up, please. Thank you.
When it's green, it's on, right?
No,
You're on.
You're on.
Okay, my name is Julie Douglas. I am the owner of Crafty Chicks & Co., a gift shop that's been in downtown Angels for 6.5 years. I'm going to read my statements because it's easy. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on behalf of downtown business owners and community members who care deeply about preserving the character and economic vitality of our historic district. We are here to respectfully ask the council to reconsider the Planning Commission's recent approval allowing a private high school to occupy the last remaining restaurant-capable building in our historic downtown. I am speaking both as a business owner and a resident of downtown Angels Camp. Our downtown is the heart of our community, but it's a heart that's been struggling. We endured years of economic setbacks, from the bypass diverting travelers away from Main Street to consistently vacant buildings, a pandemic, PG&E power shutoffs, inflation, tariffs, and reduced visitor traffic. These factors have made recovery difficult for small businesses trying to stay open and attract customers. Today, more than half of our existing storefronts are either vacant or occupied by offices or personal service businesses such as salons, real estate, chiropractors, skincare, etc. While these services are valuable, they mainly serve local clients during weekday hours. They do not generate much sales tax, tourism, or a significant amount of foot traffic, all of which are critical to a healthy downtown economy. We have very few spaces left that can accommodate restaurants, shops, or entertainment venues, the kinds of uses that bring people downtown, create jobs, and help fund city services. The building in question is one of those few remaining spaces. And as we speak, we just had another prime retail space be turned into an office space. Can we not update building ordinances to protect our historical district from turning into a glorified business complex or strip mall? The mixed-use concept in our ordinance is getting a bit lopsided and outdated, with only 37% of storefronts being hospitality-type businesses, meaning retail, restaurant, entertainment, tourism drivers. 63 of our storefronts are personal services, business offices, appointment-type businesses, or even worse, vacant. Our Planning Commission holds strict standards for preserving the historic character of our downtown, from building facades to structural details and overall aesthetic requirements. This is very important. Yet, it raises an important question. Why isn't the same level of attention applied to the types of businesses allowed to occupy these historic buildings, especially ones that require a conditional use permit? When reading the Planning Commission response to our appeal, it seems as if they have not spent extended periods of time downtown or paid attention to what the current situation is. Being aware of the current climate is vital when making decisions that affect our town and those businesses that are fighting hard to keep it going. Some of the responses to our appeal seem to be very tone deaf. To use an example of non-tax generating businesses, such as the post office or the Oddfellows Lodge, which, by the way, they're my landlords, using them as drivers of business is really quite out of touch. For example, the members of the Oddfellows meet in their lodge, which is not a storefront. We're not talking about upstairs businesses, we're talking about storefronts. So the Oddfellows Lodge is upstairs. They meet the second Monday of every month, when there are no businesses open downtown except my bar. They rent their lodge out to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, who meet there from Tuesday through Friday from 6:45 to 8:30 p.m. Again, foot traffic that is not commerce. These are not events that create commerce. Has anyone ever noticed what post office customers do? They are in and out of the post office in an errand, not a visit for commerce. Additionally, we have a vacant building ordinance that is meant to support the vitality of the district, but it is only enforced when someone files a complaint. Why should this be complaint-driven at all? The city should be actively monitoring and enforcing this ordinance, not relying on the already overburdened business owners to police the district themselves. Downtown merchants are navigating enough daily challenges, economic uncertainty, inconsistent foot traffic, and the impacts of long-term vacancies. It should not also fall on us to identify and report issues that directly affect the health, safety, and viability of our district. The responsibility to uphold these standards must rest with the city, not the people simply trying to keep their small businesses alive. A private high school may serve an important educational purpose, but it does not align with common sense strategic planning goals for historic commercial district or those stated in our most recent general plan. A school generates no sales tax, pays no sales tax, and operates only during weekday hours. It might bring students and staff, but not customers or tourists. Even if every single of the 25 students and their parents patronized every business in the downtown area at least once a week, it would not offset the lack of business and foot traffic that a vital and vibrant downtown district would be attracting year-round, returning visitors from both near and far. It's also important to recognize that our downtown includes bars and restaurants with liquor license. We already talked about the liquor license thing. Let's see. This issue is more than one building. It's about maintaining the integrity of our historic downtown as a commercial and cultural center. The city's general plan emphasizes economic vitality, tourism development, and mixed-use vibrancy. Allowing so many institutional or non-commercial uses in the core historic district moves us away from those objectives and sets a precedent that could further erode the area's commercial base. I've had my shop for 6.5 years. I hear again and again from customers comments like, what has happened to your downtown? It used to be full of cute shops and restaurants. Or why are there so many empty storefronts? Doesn't your city care about it anymore? I've even had the comment, wow, no wonder so many people go to Murphy's instead. Downtown has already lost a viable business to a nearby bustling downtown. That would be Sourgrass Clothing, who moved to Sutter Creek because she could not expand because there was no available property landowners were not wanting to rent her. Okay, so we lost her. We are now losing another business. And with more leasing opportunities happening in Murphy's due to multiple tasting rooms relocating or closing, we could lose more. Please do not let this happen. We need your help. Tonight, we ask you to revisit this approval and reaffirm your commitment to keeping downtown a commercially vibrant, visitor-friendly, and economically sustainable district. We also encourage the city to work collaboratively with the school to identify a more suitable location, one that meets their needs while preserving downtown's role as the economic and cultural heart of our community. This is not about saying no to education. It's about saying yes to balanced planning, economic recovery, and the long-term vision for our historic downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. This is not public comment. Right.
Just so that I have, I just wanted clarity on this, the hearing, because I want to make sure that this doesn't become public comment. So do you want to chime in on that?
Sure.
Okay.
So we had the named appellant testify, so next would be the applicant.
Yes.
And then after that would be public hearing, so everybody.
That's why I'm bringing this up, because
Okay.
otherwise it's going to become public comment, and that's not what this time is for.
Okay. All right.
Sit down, Gretel.
Come back.
Sorry, Gretel.
You have to go during public comment.
And now the applicant.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Well, good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council and city staff and friends and new neighbors downtown there. When I'm teaching the kids, they like to refer to the sweater that I'm wearing right now as my Mr. Rogers neighborhood sweater. They were calling that today at school. And I'm wearing this sweater right now, and so I'm hoping you're gonna let me open with everybody's favorite neighbor, a quote from Fred Rogers. He said this, he said, "A community is not truly complete until it makes room for the laughter of children learning, the songs of people praying, and the quiet hope that both bring to a neighborhood." On October 9th, your planning commission looked at our little school project on South Main Street and essentially said, yes, let's make the downtown a more complete neighborhood. And tonight I get to say thank you to the planning commission and to ask that you keep this beautiful little vision alive by denying the appeal and that you uphold the CUP. I've been in Calaveras County since the 1980s. Our family has always been involved in education here, from my parents who started Christian Family Learning Center, now Libertas, to my brother-in-law, David Dugan, who's the director of the theater at Bret Harte. I myself taught college for 15 years, and with my wife, we've raised 13 children here in Angels Camp over the last 30 years. And so we are
all in on Angels Camp. We are very invested in its future. We really want to see it thrive. And so that's why I'm fairly excited that education is coming back to the heart of historic downtown Angels Camp. We all are familiar that Angels Camp was founded in 1848. We're very familiar with the Altaville School, which is famously, I believe it's the first in California. That was 1858. What we don't realize is that in 1854, the first school preceding Altaville was down here in Old Town Angels Camp. It was on Raspberry Lane, which runs past Gretel's Place. And then in 1890, there was the first public school was also down here. It was on Finnegan Lane on the northwest side. So Angels Camp has a history of being open to education and being some of the first in the entire state. I'm not here though just for the heart side of this. I'm here this for the business side as well. This makes excellent business sense. In addition to my academic and pastoral background, I have been a businessman and an entrepreneur for many years. I have an MBA from a very prestigious business school in Europe. I have spent substantial time in corporate settings in dealing with international business. I have started a number of successful businesses in this and surrounding counties and in other states as well. I'm very familiar with business. And I would like the council and my new neighbors to know, and I hope this puts some of their hearts at ease, that in cities all over the United States right now, so there's between 6,000 and 7,000 of these, they are deliberately planting schools in downtown areas to revitalize those areas. And they are known as anchor schools. And you could look that up and study those a little bit. And you can think of an anchor school kind of like you would have an anchor tenant in a mall. It's a tenant who holds security and core to a mall. An anchor school does that. It brings morning traffic. It brings afternoon traffic, foot traffic. It brings eyes on the street. It increases safety. There's more civic pride. Rising property values always come along with schools. And really what we would like to be doing down there is revitalizing this little town. My wife and I were just in Placerville, and I was saying, we were driving through the old town there saying, Angels Camp could absolutely be this. And anchor schools really do jumpstart revitalization. And I think that's exactly what your planning commission voted unanimously for Angels Camp when they approved our CUP. Because they realized that instead of another dark storefront with a leaking roof, and when the rain was going on here, had we not been in there, there was a steady pour of water coming in, and we quick called a roofer, and that was fixed, but that building would have just been filled with water. It would have been ruined had we not been in there. So instead of having another dark storefront, what you have now is you have people walking down the street, and this is happening all day long, and they're leaning in, they're saying, what's going on there? It happened actually again today, didn't it, kids? They're saying, what's going on here? And they look in and they see sharp young people in ties and in beautiful dresses. They see them working hard. They hear them singing choir music. They're preparing the concert for the big Ironstone concert we have every year, the Festival of Nine Lessons and Carols. So they're singing the Messiah in 4-part harmony. They're laughing, they're learning, and people come in and say, wow, this is awesome, right? And we're also thinking in terms of revitalization. I heard some comments about the dirt and the leaves that are down there. I've said to the kids, should we be allowed to stay? There's no reason we couldn't be sweeping leaves up for people and like kind of cleaning the downtown area so that it doesn't look like it's just a vacant, burned out sort of an area. I think that'd be a very good idea for the community service that they could do. In other words, a school down there is the very picture of what a healthy downtown should look like, a healthy, thriving downtown. And you will notice that there are limited signatories on that petition. Others were approached and others refused. And some of them that are not on there have refused because they have told me to my face, they have had a marked uptick in their business from us being there. The students, one student in particular, who's not in this room, but we all know who it is, they probably spent $300 at the ice cream store. And there's a steady, track of students who go to the ice cream place. There's coffee and there's hot chocolate that is consumed. Mark at Angels Camp Cafe has said his business has had an uptick. because there's a lot of activity there. I know ladies and gents, because there's a dress code. Some of these people have bought flat caps and dress shirts, and we've been loving getting a relationship with this wonderful lady right here, and we've been trying to carry in dressers for her if she needs things lifted, or we want to be good citizens down there. We want to provide the energy that youth can provide, and do in fact provide. So what I want to do very briefly, because I'm already taking too much of your time here, I just want to take some brief responses to their specific comments. And again, I completely understand the fear of a business going under. Been there, I understand that completely. So I want to, just as much as I'm addressing this to you, I want this as a way to win fellow neighbors over here. And you can read the details in the thing that I put in there. But that first one, that it's not commercial. That space has been empty for many months. There's no guarantee that a restaurant was coming tomorrow. We did turn a dark building into a vibrant one. We'll be decorating that for Christmas. We will be in the Christmas parade. It will be vibrant. And I think it's the very definition of the adaptive reuse that preserves historic structures while keeping them economically alive. I'm trying to use the words that are in the city documents. This idea that it would hurt sales tax because one restaurant is gone. Restaurants, well, educational facilities bring students, they bring parents, they bring staff, and they bring them sometimes from far away. In addition to, it's not actually, the CUP is not actually that it is a school, it's that it's an educational center. So we have a community choir in there on Monday nights. I was actually walking up and down the street and looking at everybody's open hours. We're the most open, one of the most open businesses now down there. And that on Monday, we're there till 9 o'clock, and there's a community choir, and that draws people from as far away as, we have some singers from above Twainhart who are coming down. You know, nothing stopping them going down to the Miners Lounge. I've done that myself. You know, it's, not on Monday night I haven't, but I have other nights with them. But when you have an educational place, if we can stay there, my wife's talking about starting a sewing class, for example. Nice to have a craft supplier nearby, right? And that becomes a destination. And as a destination, people are coming to the downtown for a specific reason. They're coming there not just for the post office, they're coming there for a thing, and, well, at Jubilee, I need dinner, I need what have you, right? So it becomes, I don't think it actually hurts sales tax. I think it's a sales tax engine in disguise is what it is, because it's a destination. The idea that it kills foot traffic is a little confused in the appellate's claims, because in one regard, they say, sorry, they say it kills foot traffic, but in another regard, there's too much foot traffic. Am I pushing a button wrong or something?
No, I think
she's not muted.
somebody's not muted. I
Oh,
just muted them.
okay.
I apologize.
The voice from heaven. Right. Yeah. Is my mic off?
No, you're on.
I'm on? Okay.
You're okay.
All right. So this idea that it kills foot traffic, I would say respectfully, the opposite is true. The opposite is true. We provide steady, all-day pedestrian traffic, which is exactly what retail needs most. Restaurants, on the other hand, they get peak traffic at maybe lunch and dinner, and it's vacant the rest of the time. We're having violin lessons in there after school. Other classes could be coming up. It's going to be a much more steady flow of traffic. Again, that is destination traffic, which for businesses is good. In terms of parking problems, the footprint of that building is allowed 2 spaces. It's actually part of the property, 2 spaces. And so we have committed, since we only have 2 teachers there at a time, those are the teacher spaces, and we're not taking up more than those 2 spaces. Most of the students don't drive. The ones that do are parking. We've told them you can park down by this parking lot here, or the one here, or the one up by Gretel's. And they walk down. They're older ones anyway. It's no problem. They walk down. So we're really not impinging in any meaningful way upon the parking that's in the back right there. Just one final thing, there's more I could address, and I'm sure there'll be questions and I will address them. But the the statement said that students were loud and that they were loitering. By the time that appeal was submitted, that was the week of October 13th through 17th, I had specifically told the kids, because I didn't know this was coming, but I had told them, this is your first week in the building, we want to be really good citizens, we're going to not go out in front at all on this week. We didn't go one time out in the front, so I don't know who the yelling or the loud noise was. I can only assume it was not these students right here. If it is, now that you've seen them, if you see any of these students misbehaving or not representing themselves or their families or their church or their community in any way, shape, or form, please come and tell me. I'm very happy to make sure that they are. I highly doubt that they're misrepresenting themselves. I've known many of them since they were born. It was probably some other person. So we take our neighborhood peace seriously, and we will continue to communicate. We will try to overperform as good neighbors. And this is not a precedent that will turn downtown into churches and schools. This is one carefully considered, reversible, adaptive reuse of one long vacant building that solves more problems than it creates. And then just finally, as the city attorney has already pointed out, my friend Kevin Snyder, who's the chief counsel for the Pacific Justice Institute, which is you don't know them, they're a national constitutional law firm. They argue in front of the Supreme Court, so he's the chief counsel for them. And he's very clear that your planning commission got this exactly right. What he has told me is they did it exactly right. And he's intimating, I believe, that they actually could not have made another choice, even actually right here. So I think the planning commission showed foresight. They showed wisdom, they showed vision, and the use of this building is about whether Angels Camp wants to be a town that says to young families, yes, come and raise your children here. We have a real neighborhood with real children's voices on a real old-fashioned family main street again. Or whether we would say, sorry, we'd rather keep another storefront dark and hope that a restaurant shows up someday. So I think your planning commission decided well. And I would respectfully ask this council that you stand with them, that you deny the appeal, that you uphold the CUP, and let us get back to making Angels Camp warm, vibrant, and a complete, beautiful little city in the Sierra Foothills. Because when those kids are singing in that building, it's quite a beautiful thing. And so I will be here, obviously, to answer any questions that anyone has.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, now we will open this up to the public for public comment. And what I do not want to turn off anyone from speaking, but please, let's be mindful of time, and if you do make a comment, which we will encourage, and you want to add something to that comment, that's fine, but let's just all be respectful of one another, please. Thank you. So, anybody who would like to speak?
You wanted to address repeating the same.
Yeah, and then repeat it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right, that's what you're trying to get to.
Yeah. Please state your name and.
Excuse me. Greg Douglas. I'm a resident of downtown Angels Camp. I'm also the husband of Julie from the Crafty Chicks and Company. Good evening, City Council, Mayor, and staff. As the spouse of a downtown business owner and a resident of downtown community, I need to highlight a significant gap in communication. Downtown business owners were never notified about this matter. Planning Commission notices are only sent to property owners. I do understand that these notices are also posted in physical locations and in the local newspaper. This is an antiquated communication method, as newspaper readership is at an all-time low and post office bulletin board notices are easily lost in the clutter. This is especially problematic because many property owners do not reside in Angels Camp. Many are even located out of state or out of the country, and often fail to share important information with their tenants. When my wife asked the Planning Commission spokesperson why property tenants could not be added to the mailing list for projection notifications, the response was that it would take too much staff time. Is it acceptable that downtown business owners The people most affected by these potential changes are not considered significant enough to be notified or given an opportunity to voice their opinions or on potentially problematic projects. Furthermore, how many downtown businesses operate within the 300-foot notification zone when a conditional use permit is filed? Doesn't the city maintain a business license database that could be used to identify these businesses? The Planning Commission's appeal response suggested that tracking downtown businesses is too challenging due to frequent turnover. However, doesn't this high turnover itself indicate a need for increased attention, support, and communication with our business community? It is a major oversight not to notify the tenants and merchants who are directly impacted by decisions and development in our historic downtown. I respectfully urge the city to reevaluate this notification process to ensure that the downtown business owners are included in all future communications that will directly impact their businesses. On another note, I want to address a troubling incident involving a member of the Calaveras Presbyterian Church, who is also a new neighboring business owner. This individual posted an inappropriate and offensive comment about the merchants of downtown Angels Camp in a Facebook post. The comment was captured in a screenshot and shared with my wife by a mutual Facebook friend of Brooke Mose. The incident occurred when somebody posted a prayer request for Pastor Brooke Mose, which included the reply, "Pray that the hearts and minds of the downtown merchants be softened." In response, the neighboring business owner and also member of the Calaveras Presbyterian Church replied, "Or to be beaten into submission." Such language is unacceptable, especially when directed towards downtown business owners, many of whom are women. This kind of comment not only undermines the sense of community, but also targets those who contribute to the vitality and success of our historic downtown. Threats or violent language directed at women are particularly unacceptable because they perpetuate a culture of intimidation and fear. Women business owners already face unique challenges such as overcoming stereotypes, combating gender bias, and striving for equal respect and opportunities in the workplace. When language that implies physical harm or coercion is used, it can discourage women from participating in the business community, expressing their opinions, or pursuing leadership roles. Such comments can also create a hostile environment, making it difficult for women to feel safe and supported in their place of business. It is essential for the community to condemn such behavior and foster an environment where all business owners, especially women, are treated with dignity and respect. Thank you.
Can you
How do we deal with
I would
public comment?
continue the public.
No, we'll just
Continue
continue the
public
public
comment,
comment. Okay, any other public comment? Well, you can be next, Trish.
I'm sorry, I'm so short. My name is Gina Gonzalez. I live out in Bar 20. I don't live in downtown, but I can tell you that I participate in everything that the businesses do. I really believe in our community. I believe it's a dying breed. I hate to say that, but when we had girls' night out, it was horrible. You guys may think it was great. No, it was bad. I took two of my friends from the Bay Area here, and they all went, "Gina, what the heck? What's up?" The only thing that was good was the Stories and Stones was great, the jewelry store, and Crafty Chicks. The rest of the guys were like, "Well, that's not what we want. We want people coming down here, not going to Murphy's." They go to Murphy's after they come here. They don't go to Murphy's first and then come here. Another suggestion you guys might have is opening up a wine bar somewhere. I know you guys are poo-pooing it, but you know what? It brings in business. It brings in money. I don't know about the religious aspect. I am not a religious person. I respect people who are, but I have no bad or good about it. But if it's going to hurt these businesses, I say no. Just as a taxpayer, I say no. You guys have a hard decision to make, and I agree that you guys are doing good jobs for the kids, but business is business, and we need our tax revenue. If you wanted to pay taxes and sell something there, maybe that would change my mind, but we need our taxes for our schools, we need it for our streets, we need it for our police officers. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Trish. Trish first, then you, Greg.
Patricia, I have some questions and concerns. First of all, I've been in that building as a restaurant. Downstairs, Where is there a back exit for fire safety if there's a fire in the front of the building? I'd like to know if it's been changed.
Can I address
Yes.
No, you have to address the council.
Okay, I'd like to know if the council made sure and provided for the, a second exit if there's ever a fire and it's in the front of that building by the front door. I've been downstairs and there is no back exit. It's underground. There's no back exit to get out as far as I know. That's just one of my concerns. The other is I've witnessed myself children being dropped off, holding up traffic on Main Street to drop them off. I don't know if mom is running late or what, but still it's holding up traffic. And at that time of the morning, traffic is heavy. It's go to work time. It's everything. And I have with myself, this is not hearsay, I have myself witnessed, okay, several times, cars holding up traffic. I'm going the other way, I'm lucky. But you said there was a stipulation that part of it was they are not to use Main Street as a drop-off. I witnessed it being used. So that needs to be addressed as far as I'm concerned. The other thing is, I don't know if there's any kind of, I can't think of the word, ordinance or something as far as proximity to bars. There's 2 bars and that sits right in the middle. And I thought that there's, as far as schools go, there is something that stipulates that like a bar can't be built or put in within a certain distance of a school. I don't know if I'm wrong or right, but I know I ran into it back, when I grew up back in New York and I was old enough, and it was my uncle trying to put a bar in. And they told him no, but maybe that's too antiquated and it isn't anymore. But as far as I'm concerned, that's what I know. So that's another thing I'd like someone to look into, if you would please. The other thing is the restaurant that left, Cascabel, was a viable, so delicious restaurant that everyone enjoyed. They did not leave on their own. They were told, and this is not hearsay. I went in and asked, why are you leaving? Why are you closing? They were told by the landlord the building was getting sold and they needed to leave. So the fact that it was an empty building for a few months is because they were told they had to get out. They didn't leave on their own. And then they just felt there was no other place for them really to go to be that restaurant that everyone enjoyed. So they ended up closing shop. But they were told they needed to leave. They did not leave on their own. The reason it was empty because the landlord told them it was being sold and that was the end of it. So it was a very viable restaurant, and if they had not been told they needed to leave, they'd still be there today. And they'd still have the delicious Mexican food that everyone enjoyed, takeout or not. Maybe you didn't see people sitting, but a lot of people went and got takeout for lunch, dinner, whatever. It was a viable restaurant at the time and would be today if they hadn't been told they had to get out. So I think that's a really sorry thing that happened because it was just too good and the people were amazing. They were very friendly.
Thank you, Trish.
That's it. Okay.
I'm Delly.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Gretel Tiscornia. I own Pickled Pork Cafe and Mingo's on Main, and I'm happy to be here with everybody. It's nice to see a turnout, council, and staff. I'm here to voice my opinion about having a school/church in our downtown vicinity. I'm not against their mission. The kids and parents are great. The program is beneficial to the growth of society, and I just don't feel that it's beneficial to the growth of our downtown district. This is not a personal attack on the new Geneva School. And I had a lovely conversation with Brooke Mose just yesterday. My opinion is strictly based on the belief that business creates an energy of more business. Locals and tourists need more options, and stores and restaurants bring people to downtown, not just to pick up their mail. By having a school or church office located smack down in the middle, I just feel that it handicaps the potential growth of our downtown and we desperately need that. And Coscabels is one of the few ready-to-go rentable properties in downtown. So my concern, and it has been addressed a little bit, and I also called ABC 3 times, and I looked on their website multiple times, but ABC has, which is the Alcohol Beverage Control, has the ability to deny any retail license located within immediate vicinity of churches, schools, hospitals, playgrounds, and youth facilities. So this creates another quandary for downtown, because if I wanted to lease the space that Johnny the Label's leaving from, and I want to get a new liquor license, now I have another step to, get through in order to do that. Also, there are 7 liquor licenses in downtown. There's 4 41s, which is beer and wine, Avelinos, Crusco's, the movie theater, and soon to be the Viking. There's 148, which is my bar. There's 2 47s, which is hard alcohol with food, and that's Miner's Lounge and Pickled Porch. So if any of our businesses, if we want to try and sell any of our businesses now, it's also up to the discretion of ABC if our liquor license can be grandfathered in or not with our properties. And I looked into all of this, so it's just one more oversight government involvement. And the school had no problem moving into a district with 7 liquor licenses, but yet if a wine bar wants to move in, they're going to have a really hard time. And I just think that it's a double-edged sword. I also have a little bit of a problem with the long-term comments that the business was for sale for a long time. Coscabels closed in June. The property was up for sale for 3 months, went into escrow. It was never up for lease. And I know we're not guaranteed to have a business come in there or have a restaurant come in there. And even though I own a restaurant, I'm a firm believer that bring more restaurants in. I would actually like to go to another restaurant. I'm sick of my own food. So, and I'd love to really have a good draft beer, which I do not have. So because of that space not even having the option of being up for lease, we just completely killed it. And I know that the school says that they're a short-term option and you have plans to build your school, and I hope you do, and I think your program is fantastic. But we're looking at a 5-year term. I don't see that it's going to be a 6-month or a year or a 2-year program. It's going to be a 5-year thing. So for 5 years, we're going to have the school, and I hope that if you guys do stay, I hope you do all the great things that you want to do. But downtown businesses are suffering. We don't have foot traffic. We don't have things that bring people down, and I just don't see how this is going to create more interest from the tourist point of view, which is, I would say, probably 70% of my business. So that's my concern. So no hard feelings. Thank you. Ding.
So script goes out the thing. Good evening, Council. Jesse Gibbs, Century 21, business owner downtown. There are no hard feelings. We're just looking at downtown. We're talking about vibrant cities. It was announced, we're losing another person downtown. We had one go to Sutter Creek. There's no school in Sutter Creek. It's a vibrant downtown in Sutter Creek. People go to Murphy's all the time. There's no school in downtown Murphy's. It's a vibrant town. That's what people are seeking. That's what residents are seeking. That's what tourists are seeking. And that is not what we have downtown. Adding another space that doesn't bring something for either people to dine at, have beverages at, or shop at just hinders what we have downtown. I'm one of the service industries. Julie talked about service, but my service is when I bring people to town, I want them to live in Angels Camp. I want them to support Angels Camp. If they buy a home in Angels Camp, there's tax dollars there. If they come to my office and downtown is vibrant, that creates community, that creates culture, that creates people wanting to be here. But unfortunately, that's not what our downtown is. We struggle down there regularly. Take a breath, right? I don't know, I get nervous with you guys. I talk to you all the time. But we don't have that down there. And we're not having the partnerships with the departments in the city to help us bring. What she just said about that building, it wasn't vacant that long, it was for sale. They left, it was for sale, it was not for lease, it didn't sell, so then they started looking for that. So to say that it sat vacant for a long time, it didn't have that long, they tried to sell it first. I'm just concerned because our downtown, there's a lot of us that are struggling down there. We're tired because we feel like we're on an island. We're trying to make downtown work. Julie, Gretel, myself, the other businesses we're in, we have nights out. We try different things. I can't sell something there, but I support them how I can to make sure we get people there. And that's not what we're getting. We're not getting the support, guys. Downtown has been suffering for a long time, and we need the city's support on that. And no hard feelings. I just don't think that's going to contribute to what we're needing down there. And as we're going to have another vacant space, it's just one more black eye for us. So really, I kind of feel we're up against a wall because we're talking attorneys. When attorneys get involved, we know how that all works. So I think, some of us are probably just voicing their concern, and it may backfire on us because we see it on social media, but this is a major concern. So that's it.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to say I'm
Just put the mic down. State your name, please.
I'm Trinity Mose. I go to the school, and just on the thing with the fire, if there's a fire in the front, there downstairs is a door to go out of. I do school right beside it, and it's easy to access, and you can get out of fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? Please state your name, sir.
My name's Adam Hood, and I don't live in Angels Camp. I live in Mountain Ranch, but my kids attend this school, so we drive really far. We're way out in Mountain Ranch. By the time I get down to downtown Angels Camp, I'm eating downtown. I've ate at the Pickled Porch many times. I've gone to the Lemon Tree many times. We've shopped at the Wild West Western store. Almost all the parents of these kids, especially the moms, really like to shop, and they're shopping. And I've seen them many times in the restaurants. And we're a church that actually is fine with having a beer and a drink. So we even visit the bars. And so we're definitely doing business downtown and bringing a lot of our, family members and when they come to town. My mom comes from Monterey. She comes from a long way as well. If they want to see the kids, they're going to be shopping downtown. So I just want to tell you, it is generating revenue and excitement for the downtown area in a very vibrant way, I might add. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, this isn't necessarily, hi, I'm Tori James with the Calaveras Enterprise. I'm not here necessarily to make a comment, but I just wanted to ask some questions. So one of the questions, just to understand, because I wasn't aware of the issues, but in terms of parking and in terms of like children being outside and because I know we have a constrained downtown, right? We have a Highway 49 that is also our main street, and there's not a lot of parking, drop off, pickup, or whatever. So I know that there are certain parking lots. I guess there's a parking lot where Angels Creek Trading Company is, where Habitat is now. There's a certain amount of parking spaces. There's some at the foot of Main Street. But I mean, I guess I think it would be really important for me to be able to write in the story, how logistics would work for a school to be down there, especially one that's not kind of in the middle of a block with like one door, right, and no real parking around it. So I think that's something that I'd like to understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have a question that I hope someone can answer for me. Is this just a high school that's taking?
It's we call it may I answer? No. You don't have a chance.
When I read the conditional use permit, it was, to my understanding, it was 25 high school students. But I'm seeing a cute little kid over here that looks like he's not a high school student. And I agree with safety. There are concerns about safety with the kids and it being down a highway. I did also notice in Mr. Moe's response that he said our complaints were fabricated. Our complaints were not fabricated. We had a merchant that witnessed a teenage boy backing out from the parking lot between Cruzco's and the cafe. He was backing out of the parking lot tail first. And if you're familiar with downtown, you know that's already a terrible blind spot when you're coming out of that parking lot. So if this thing is gonna happen, they really need to work on safety with the kids, especially the ones that are driving. And I also want to say that I did have a female student park in front of my shop for about 7 hours one day. So a lot of us have cameras and we don't fabricate things. We see what's happening. If we're too busy to actually walk out there, we do see things that are happening. One of the nice things about being a group downtown is we do communicate with each other. And I just want to state for the record, things were not fabricated. We had discussions because we were worried about potential issues. And it's to my understanding that when you have a conditional use permit, you are supposed to abide by that conditional use permit. So it would be greatly appreciated if they did. Because, we don't want to see kids getting ran over. We don't want to see anything like that, car accidents, anything like that. Traffic down there is bad enough with people blasting through a 25-mile zone, people almost getting hit in the crosswalk. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I can't come to one without saying something. I'll keep it short and sweet, guys. They're bailing.
Please state your name.
My name's Corinne. I'm the owner of Johnny the Label. I will say, like everybody else, this is not a personal matter at all. What I believe in, what they believe in, this is nothing to do with a personal attack on any school or anything like that. I think, honestly, it's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back of how kind of like a lot of the city or the business owners were feeling, and then kind of like the odds are getting stacked on us, and now this is kind of just trickling down. And unfortunately for you guys, you're getting the brunt of it. But also there are legitimate concerns, okay, don't get me wrong. But I would also say we appreciate all the support that you guys bring to the downtown, absolutely. But longevity, we need more support. It needs to be a town that people want to visit. Can you be there? Yes, but there needs to be more businesses downtown to go alongside that. And I think that's kind of like where we are all at, of how do you have both together at this point. That's all.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yeah, wait, we have a young lady stepping forward.
Hi, I'm Candy Gutierrez, and there is a concern about this town not having enough people, not foot traffic. Just a suggestion, a very strong suggestion to the council, you might consider putting in some charge stations, because there are a number of people who have come up that can't find a place to charge. How nice would it be? Stop in Angels Camp, charge up your car, take the 20 minutes that's here to go shopping at these wonderful shops, or eat at one of the restaurants that's here, and have more restaurants and shops come in. I think that would be a really beneficial thing to Angels Camp.
Thank you. Thank you. Trish, did you? Go ahead, Trish.
I apologize, I have one other concern. Mr. Mose? No.
No, us.
Oh, okay, no, I was just gonna, okay,
Okay.
sorry. No, okay, I got it. Okay, I was told that people open the door and it's lovely to hear children singing or learning instruments. Okay, you're gonna tell me and you're all gonna just shout in about 2 seconds.
No, we're not.
The door is unlocked. Ask any parent of a school shooting. Did they expect it to happen? Not in Angels Camp, it's not gonna happen. I'm born and raised in the wrong part of this country, I guess, because I was born and raised in New York. You're suspicious of everything, you're conscious of everything. You understand anything and everything can happen no matter where you are. And so if that door is unlocked and someone who is very off and not on their whatever, and they see children in that window and they decide to open that door, there's no telling. And those children, and that's my other concern. My concern when I looked at this whole thing was more for children's safety. And that was my other concern that I had forgotten to mention originally. And everybody can walk out of here saying she's crazy, never in Angels Camp. The day it happens, come back and tell me, because I won't say I told you so.
Thank you. Any other public comment before go ahead, sir.
I'll just make a quick one because I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time.
State your name first,
my name is Ethan Mose and I am one of the teachers downtown. I just want to say that I was born here. I've grown up my entire life here, besides a few years when my dad was accomplishing some of his degrees back east. I come back here and I've always been super saddened by the pretty much death of the downtown of Angels Camp. That as a kid, the parades were more vibrant, there were more people walking in on it daily, and I just do not see that today. I, as being one of the teachers, am very concerned with the safety of our students, okay? And I'll address that in a moment. But for one, I'm super, super excited to be able to join you guys downtown and be able to try and revitalize what I, as a child, loved and have just seen deteriorate. And I think it's really important to note that the different crowds that Dean Mose is referring to on the different nights, these are different crowds. It's not the same people coming over and over, because I know that might be an idea in one of your heads that, well, these people can't frequent a business that many times. Well, we have the parents every single day coming and pick up and dropping off their kids. We have Monday night is a community choir where there are some students there, but there's many other people from all different cities in this county joining into that event. Wednesday night, there's a prayer group where people come and they take time to pray together and have a Bible study, and those are yet again a different crowd. And our hope is that even in the evening hours, so we can stretch from the moment that the business hours start, the moment that business hours can end, we have something in there with people coming in and experiencing your guys' beautiful businesses. I am a super busy person and don't get a chance to walk downtown much, and I myself have been able to walk down and frequent a few of your businesses way more than I have been able to just because I'm there. I have, even this hat I bought at the, what was that? No, next door at the Ladies and Gents. And that's a cute shop. I love being able to spend time there myself. And like I said, growing up, I'm just so saddened by the death of Angels Camp. And I, for one, and I know everybody else behind me is supporting the same idea, we'd love to revitalize it. So this is not just one person's vision. This is not just a single idea. This is something that we all share in community, and we love to share with you guys. On the note of concern for safety of children, I am a 20-year teacher of martial arts. I have a business in martial arts. I have opened 3 different martial arts studios and helped teach them. And so I am very concerned about their safety. And thankfully, in this particular school, over half the kids take martial arts as well. That note aside, that is our concern. And we did toy with the idea of locking the door. Legally, we cannot do that for fire reasons, right? But that doesn't mean we don't have a plan and address that, because that is literally my livelihood in life. Besides teaching at school, I teach that for a living. So I'm very happy to address that concern, that the safety of our children is one of my top priorities. And,
Martial arts isn't gonna be the Sorry.
I understand we're not speaking to each other, but I understand that concern, and within all of our legal possibilities of how we can address safety in the school, we are doing those. And so I just want to state that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment, Trish?
There's a written comment from Aaron.
Wait, I will, but wait, just anybody else here? in the audience? Any other public comments online? Is that what you were asking?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
She wrote it. That was in.
Michelle?
Is it in the chat?
Is it in the chat or?
Yeah, I believe right here from Aaron.
Would you read it for us? I can't.
Yeah, I can.
Maybe I can read it,
Okay.
but look over here.
Hello, my apologies for not being present. I am typing because I am not in a private space to speak. My name is Aaron Croshaw. I own the Ladies and Gent LLC. Mr. Mose mentioned me seemingly in favor of his position. I just wanted to clarify that my kindness has possibly been misunderstood. As they are doing no harm in their daily activity, they are also doing no good. I signed the petition for them to be removed. I just want my position to be clear and that my support is with Julie Douglas and company. 100%. My business is only 7 months old, although I am 4th generation local that was told not to open downtown because of situations like this. Please prove me wrong. There are so many people working so hard to have thriving businesses.
Michelle, anyone else online?
I am not seeing any hands raised for questions.
So at this point, we would close.
At this point, have the.
Council?
No, the applicant would speak again to address concerns, and then the appellant has the last chance to speak.
Okay.
She would be the closer.
So do we just have one of each,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. Put the applicant first or the appellant? Applicant first. Okay.
Well, I would simply want to start and ask if any of you council members, having heard any of those things, have some questions from me, which I'd be happy to answer. If not, then I'll just answer a couple of those myself. But do you have any specific questions you'd like to
I think
ask?
we get to that next.
Yes.
After you both address yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Probably the biggest thing that I'm hearing, which is a really valid concern, and it's mine as well, is the safety of the children. In terms of, I can't speak to someone backing out of that alley. I do know we have only one student who was in the first week, he tried to park back there. He didn't park back there. So he now parks down, he parks down the way. So I think, I highly doubt that it is this, actually is he here?
No.
He's not, yeah. I highly doubt that would have done something so foolish. There's no way we can know who that is that's backing out. There's no way we can know that. He doesn't park there. I will also say this, that in the first couple days, there were a couple parents that I don't think had got the memo that I had said specifically there is no pickup or drop off in the front. And I can think of 2 instances where a parent did, and it was a mother, so maybe that was the one that was seen. And I probably told her, I said, no, we've told Caltrans we're not doing any pickups and drop-offs in the front. And so that mother has very faithfully come into the back, circled around, dropped the kid off, and left. So I'm not aware of that happening since then. The students are very specifically told not to park on the main street in front of the businesses. The only girl who could have been is in this room, so you'd be able to point her out maybe, I don't know.
Does she have a red car?
I don't know.
Go ahead, just keep
Yeah,
talking.
I'll just keep going.
Don't-
I'm sorry, I'm talking to them again.
Thank you.
So, all that I would say is, all of those sort of things, it is bordering on logical fallacy just to assume that those are our students, without knowing who they were. And it possibly is, and I definitely am addressing the students, you can't park on the main street, and the parents you have to drop off in the back. I'm not aware that has happened other than a couple times on the first on the first day. Regarding that Facebook comment, if you go back to that thread that was deleted, and it was deleted with also a conversation, this person just had gotten some really bad news and was having a rough day. And I am not at all excusing that. I'm giving an explanation, but the comment to this person was, we can't speak like that, right? It doesn't matter how your day is gone. And it was promptly deleted. So, it's, again, I'm not sure necessarily what that has to do with the school, because I'm not sure what that has to do with the school. And then the final thing I'll say is that the conditional use permit was not for, pointedly it didn't say that we're trying to permit a school. What pointedly it says is that we're looking for an educational facility. Not all classes happen at that place. There are other businesses in the town who give lessons. The body shop has lessons that happen. Nathan Sound Temple is awesome. I love him. Has lessons down there. It's just supposed to be in the CUP a community education center. I'm also a martial artist. I would love to teach a Tai Chi class in that building. And the last thing I would say about it is that because the church is looking for a property, we have a property actually that we're making an offer on, and the plan is to build on that property. We realize that this school is going to outstrip this building. And so we are not thinking that this is a long-term thing. Accordingly, we're not touching the kitchen. We haven't changed any of the infrastructure of that building. Tomorrow could be something else. And we're leaving it that way. We are literally just looking for a port in a storm, so we don't have to sit out in a field and do school. We've looked at many options. We really loved being at the little Baptist church here. That the planning commission thought that wasn't a good place to be in a residential area, so we left that. We were very happy there though. I don't know if you have questions. I don't know what else. I've probably forgotten something that I should address, but that's it. Yeah. Did I forget anything? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
The appellant is someone wants to speak on behalf.
Again, I think as many of our downtown merchants have reiterated time and time again, this is not anything personal. This is the future of our downtown and businesses. I was looking at the general plan online today, and I did notice in one of the in the discussion of ordinances and the mixed use zoning for downtown, somewhere along there it also says it should be looked at about every 3 years, and I don't think it is. I think when we're making decisions of especially businesses or organizations or whoever it may be that want to come in and they need a conditional use permit, I think we need to take a look at what else is on the street and how is that community doing? How are we functioning? And are we thriving? Nope. And I think things like that, the economy, I think the population of our town, of our county, there are all sorts of things that need to be taken into consideration when you are evaluating what is coming into a historic downtown district. Honestly, we feel like the red-headed stepchild in this county. I mean, everybody bypasses us and goes to Murphy's. Again, it's been that way forever. I think if we want to continue to grow and revitalize and recover, because that's what we are doing, we are still recovering from all the negative things that has happened to our downtown. I mean, we've heard people complaining about trash on the street and leaves on the street and all of that. I think our frustration is not with the applicant. The frustration is with the planning commission. And again, being a little bit tone deaf as to what you've got going on. You need to be supporting the businesses that are already there and that are already struggling and get very little assistance. There's not an organization in this town that supports us. You know, we are doing this all on our own. And so, you know, to read some of the things that I read, it really made us feel like we were not valued. And not things that Mr. Mose wrote, but things the Planning Commission wrote. And I know you're trying to go by the law. Again, this isn't a religious thing for us. This is not a personal thing for us, other than the nasty comment on Facebook. And that, I'm sorry, that is a new business owner, and if that is the kind of vibe you are going to create, and by the way, he goes around town representing himself as a member of this church when he's been talking to people. So it is relevant to what we're talking about, because you're not making any friends, and he is making it personal. We're just trying to hang on to our businesses and grow our downtown and make it thrive again. And it's really hard to do when you have a school right in the middle of it. And what I would say to the kind people who are supporting the businesses downtown now, where have you been the past 15 years? It's nice that you're here now, and you're from this area, you live here, and it's nice that you're going to the bakery and you're going to Mark's and doing all those things, but where have you been this whole time? You know, so that is something to think about, and I really hope you take this into consideration, because, like I said, we're losing another business, and there might be more headed out the door, because we feel like we're not getting support. So I thank you again for your time.
Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to ask the council if they have any questions of the appellant or anyone else. It's us asking questions now. It's our turn. Or comments, and then once that's done, we will close the public hearing and bring back. So are there any questions that the council may have of any of the speakers or the applicant or the appellant? Okay, go ahead.
So my question is for the applicant, and it was discussed that you are here temporarily, or are you not here temporarily? I've heard 5 years has been mentioned, and then you've mentioned purchasing or like looking at purchasing a property and building a school. So I just want to get some clarity around how long you're thinking that this school is going to be at the property.
Yeah, excellent question. The intent is to build our own school where all grades can be together, upper division and lower division, which is how we divide it, by upper division and lower division. And we want to do that as quickly as we possibly can. If you're talking long-term vision, you know, university background, I would like to actually see a small, right?
I'm just saying question.
I thought you just blessed me. Long-term vision, I would love to see a small college, a small private college here. And so we're looking at a property that has a lot of acreage, and you know, we're looking at a 40, 50-year vision, and we want to do it as quickly as we possibly can. In the meantime, it's raining and it's cold, and we need a place to be. And you know, we can't be at the Baptist church anymore, and I understand it's a done deal. So the reason that this building came up at all is because, as some of you know, Dave Dugan's wife, Brittany, is my sister, and she has a very severe cancer. And I was talking with Meg and Dave, who have a friend who's a very high-level doctor, and they were just blessing me, but put me in touch with somebody who's like really integrally part of her treatment right now. In the course of that discussion, I happened to mention to them that we were without a building because our place had fallen through, and he said, "Our place is empty." And then when I thought about that place, I said to him, "Would you be interested in me buying it?" I'm not interested in buying that building as a long-term school building. I'm personally interested in buying that building as something that could be turned into it could be an awesome coffee house with live music in the evenings. There's a place called Boosters in a hometown of some friends of ours. This place is the hottest place in town. There's leather couches and chairs, and there's books on the walls, and there's there's live music and there's beer that's served, and I could see this building being something like that in as near a future as possible, right? But right now, it is serving a really great place for us. It's the only place we have right now. I looked at a lot of spots. If I can find somewhere else, I don't know, but we're liking it a lot. And I really would, if this pulls through, I personally would like to be purchasing that building and see it turned into the exact sort of business that all the people would like, but always being an education place, a place where people can come and, study various classes and get coursework done. Maybe parenting classes are in there, or maybe, who knows, the sewing class. There's lots of things that can be done in that building. It's got lots of potential. So, that doesn't really answer your question. If I did it as short as possible, I could definitely see, if all goes according to plan, that within a 2-year period, we could be somewhere else. Quicker if we could. Yeah. The school is gonna grow beyond that place next year, probably.
Any other questions?
I do for Amy. Go ahead.
Okay, no,
What do you go?
Carol, you go first.
I just had it, just to be clear for everyone, have you guys looked in Angels Camp for other buildings that might be available that's not in the downtown district and not been able to find a place that's fits you?
Yeah, kind of the reason why we had a little last minute scurry to find a place is we thought in that beautiful little Seventh Adventist church at the end of town, which is kind of dwindled away, we thought that would be perfect, and we were in talks for that, and it looked like it was going to happen. And then literally a week before, they're just at a place that good people there, but they don't know what their future holds, and they just felt like we just can't entangle with somebody right now. We don't know what's gonna happen with our building with us. That building is owned by the conference. It's not owned by that church. It's owned by the church in Sacramento. And so we literally, a week before school started, had no place to be. And so yes, I talked to you about the Veterans Hall, for example. I spoke to various other church buildings. I looked at, in that professional complex that's behind the bank, there's a little place, just 1,000 square feet, but the rent was gonna be way more than what Dave and Meg were offering. And so yes, did a pretty substantial driving up and down, talking to places. And this was good. Dave and Meg are very good friends. This would help them out, and it certainly helped us out. And we had the emotional connection going there because Brittany, and so it just happened. And we love it. Kids love it.
For the record, I'm liking that Irish pub idea.
It's okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got for Amy.
Okay.
So I guess my question would be, can any downtown business be harmed, like ABC license removed or anything of that nature, by us approving a conditional use permit for the pastoral office and community education center? Is there anything that could happen at this very moment by approving this?
So the whole purpose of our review process is to determine if that is possible and to apply conditions of project approval that could mitigate any potential harm. I do believe the Planning Commission has done that. I am not afraid of an ABC license not being issued because they are going to copy our process at ABC. We copy theirs, they copy ours. We're doing the same thing.
And can this conditional use permit, if we approve it tonight or whatever, can it be revoked in 2 months? Can it be, is parking, if parking turns into a nightmare downtown, or there's multiple accidents, or I'm throwing out the worst case scenario, believe me.
They would have to violate a condition of the permit. In other words,
Or they don't do the proper fire extinguishers, because I'm assuming the fire marshal is gonna walk through and they're gonna, or Michael or whoever is gonna go through and say you have to have a fire extinguisher every 5 feet, or whatever that may be.
Yes.
If they don't meet this, then it can be revoked at any time.
That is correct.
Amy, so this is a follow-up question. Who monitors the conditional use
Don't you steal my thunder, would you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I apologize. I thought you asked
Go,
it.
no, you are.
Alvin never talks.
We're all good.
I'm
So
sorry.
same, I have the same, go.
I'm sorry.
Bad time, we're all good.
Michael Clark is our code enforcement officer. He is currently monitoring it for code compliance for safety. That's what he has received direction on so far from the permit. If we hear of things, we convey them to him also if it's something that's potentially in violation of the permit.
Now, what if, I know you answered that just out of curiosity. So what happens if there was an ABC issue with one of the businesses that are already existing, not a future one? Could that
Already
then be?
existing ones get grandfathered.
Okay, so that's
It would
not,
have to be a brand new one that would have to go through the process. An existing one, they're
locked in.
They're locked in.
I have a question.
Unless you sell it.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Transfers, yeah, we can get into more details, sorry.
I have another question for you. Can we put limitations, like a time limitation on the conditional use permit to be reviewed again? Like say, we can approve it for the rest of this school year to be reviewed again for next school year?
And I would defer to the city attorney on that.
You can have a review, periodic review, but I wouldn't put a
time limit or time.
Right. And the purpose of the review is to make sure, you know, you're not hearing a bunch of complaints from the neighbors about one of the conditions.
Calvin, did you have anything?
No, I was just gonna ask about that same question, but you're fine. You got, we're all
Amy,
good.
can you speak to the second exit for fire and things? What?
I asked the same thing. There is a second exit in the back.
So don't do it.
Otherwise, they would not be in that building right now.
And you do have a conditional use regarding parking? Is that one of the conditional uses that you have in place?
They do not, with everybody there, they are not required to do any additional parking.
Right.
Their requirement is pick up and drop off in the back, period.
And that-
Otherwise, just like everybody else.
Okay, so Caltrans is the one who,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Any other questions for staff or applicants or you? Anyone else? Alvin, Kara?
I do have just one point of clarification. I understand that it is not the younger kids that are in this location, it's the older kids that are in the location, and that was an issue that I think Teresa.
That was an issue with their prior location, yes, noise. and
Okay,
having
but
the
we're not having little kids running out in the street.
No.
That's, okay. it's
This
the
is
older
high
kids.
school students are in this classroom.
Okay, any other questions from the council?
So is that part of the, sorry.
No, go ahead, yes.
So is that part of the conditional use as well as that they need to be high school kids?
They need to be high school kids.
And there is a population, right? A number, 25 is for the,
They proposed up to 25. The building itself for students, the building itself and every building downtown, the maximum occupancy is always 49, and then you trigger additional requirements. So.
okay. Any other questions from council for staff or those who? No? Kara? Scott? Any other questions?
How does this work? Do we close this?
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
we're
close
not-
it now.
we don't- We're not allowed to ask any more
Okay.
questions
No,
of
we
the
do it,
public?
we're gonna bring it back to us.
I think we need to, for Tori James back there, she asked about parking and where it was. I wanna make sure she was, you got clarity on
Right,
that?
the parking, but then also too, like, you know, like I heard pastoral center and then, and like, you know, different ages of kids and stuff. So I mean, like if you're talking about a conditional use permit for, you know, logistics and parking, getting in and getting out, of the people that are involved. And then also, like you were saying about.
The parking is, there are a number of different parking lots in town.
Right.
And what I understand is the two teachers are taking the parking in the back that
Right.
they allocated. And then the students are parking in one of the numerous lots and they're walking to the school.
There is a parking lot behind There's an alley that goes out, and that's where they drop off and pick up, so they go in and out that back door.
Right, and then, so it's almost, instead of a roundabout, they just go in and out that same
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Like we all do for parking at Frisco's.
Yes, to drop off and pick up.
Right.
And they are, and the age is for high school students.
Right, so like there will be a lot of other
Nope, we're done.
people, like, coming in and out, like we have the 25 students and the 2 teachers and a couple of other people.
And parents dropping them off and picking them up.
Right, so I mean, like, but in terms of like, a number of people gathering at a time, so that you have people coming in and out with a lot of foot traffic on the sidewalks and things like that.
That which is the same with pretty much a lot of the uses that we
Okay,
would approve.
all right, fair enough with that. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just trying to understand.
If the council doesn't have any other questions.
I have one more.
Okay.
Sorry, Amy, you almost got it. So when this says use permit for pastoral office and community education center school. So I understand the school is a high school age school. So, but that community education center is open to kind of interpretation on what that could be, whether
Yes,
it's
music.
quilting, music lessons.
Music lessons, sewing.
Right, I mean, it
At
could be
different
Play-Doh, I mean, it could be
Yes.
arts
It
and
can
craft,
be
it could be.
seniors
Well,
just out there.
Right, I'm just throwing out from little kids to bigger kids, it could be
Yes.
any age during that time. But the main hours will be the school from 8 to 4, I'm just trying to figure out a school.
3:30, I believe it is.
3, we're done
To
at 3.
3,
8 to 3 is the main high school age
correct.
that's coming in and out. And then after that, it could be used for a community education center that could be
Any
multitude
age.
of stuff.
And
Okay, any
it's
age.
just like Nate's can give music lessons for any age. The
Yep.
reason is there isn't places for them to play outside.
Right.
So it has to be high school.
Thank you, just wanted to.
Okay. With that, if there aren't any other questions, I am going to close the public hearing. And we'll bring it back to council. Now, council may discuss the matter, and once the discussion is ended. Pardon. What? Do you want to take what?
I'm old, all of a sudden I have to go to the restroom.
Okay. You want to take what? To discontinue?
No.
Take 2 minutes.
All right, we're just going to take a real short break. Now it's time for the council to discuss and to see where that goes. Council?
I'd like to ask you a question. So on, can you go over that federal law again, please?
Yes, I will. I better remember, okay. Pardon me here. Well, again, the Pacific Justice Institute has set forth some federal law which trumps any local or state law that we have. I'll just go with that on this side. And the case law basically says, as we we both agree in this case, right? That's why we had, if you want to make findings in the negative, we're going to need some time to come up with that, right? Some evidence to support that. Anyway, that they decline in revenue is not a basis to uphold. So that's basically that one very narrow but basic and important legal issue that's before you right now. And we don't say that because it's Pacific Institute, right? I'm picking juries in a trial every month. We've gone against the #1 firms in the country, and so it's not about that. It just happens to be that we both agree that that's what the law is. So I think that's really kind of the nuts of the issue.
Yep, it is. Where do we want to pick up from that?
So go ahead, Scott.
I'll start, what the heck? It sounds like, I mean, I understand I don't think I heard any mistruths here tonight. I mean, I think that there are different ways to look at everything. It sounds like our hands legally are tied. It sounds like the planning commission did the right thing in allowing this business to enter. I'm a little concerned about comments that talk about the city not supporting the businesses. I think every time that the city council has had a chance to act on any kind of ordinance or any kind of policy, that we've been very business friendly. We try to set the stage to allow businesses to succeed. It's not the government's job to put businesses in place and make them successful. It's the landowner's job, it's the business owner's job, it's the, it's the private sector that's got to take their buildings, take their businesses, and make a winner out of them. And all the city can do, quite frankly, is help, is try to support that with economic development. Maybe we target some businesses to help bring it down. But our downtown, as Julie talked about, all the different things and the headwinds we've had, has made it very, very difficult. But it is not because we brought in the wrong businesses. It's because we don't have enough businesses. It's because we have building owners who don't want to cooperate, don't want to rent to certain types of businesses. It's because we have trucks going downtown and we haven't done, in my opinion, enough to try to create maybe entertainment zones or do something to shut down Main Street on Friday nights and try to bring in some business. So maybe there are things we can do to make it more vibrant downtown. But and we're all open to that. I think we're very business friendly city council. And so I did take a little bit of offense to people saying we don't provide support. So I think we are supporting the city. I hope that the school does bring some vibrant, some activity downtown. I hope they sell a lot of ice cream. And I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you do half the things you say you're going to do.
So to piggyback off of Scott, I agree that we are in a legal situation where our hands are tied. And I appreciate everybody coming in here. What a great example for these kids to come in and watch our local government work. And I appreciate the business community immensely downtown. I love our downtown. I am downtown a lot. I'm lucky enough to live very close. And I think Scott hit the nail on the head. The problem is a bigger issue. And in fact, Scott and I spoke today a lot about economic development and the bigger problem. And I want to make a commitment to you right now that I would like to create an economic development plan specific for 2026. I want to see if you'll help me in that endeavor, because you and I were talking about it, but I want to commit to that being a top priority for next year. I think that the signage issues that you brought up are total relevant to get people down there. I think that the general plan, looking at it every 3 years, is absolutely key. I hear you on the notices for businesses to be notified within 300-foot zone, and I'd like to explore that more, because I do think there is validity in that. You should know who's coming into your neighborhood. And I don't think that it's going to be, I don't know that it would be that challenging. I think, we're just a small town. I've had the opportunity to speak to Brooke Mose, and I know a couple of the families involved, and having been a school administrator for 10 years of a private education school, I understand the challenges that are out there and how that works. So in saying all that, I think communication is absolutely key here. I think there's been some missed opportunities for some good communication between all the parties. I'd love to see some leaning in to this, having the students, volunteering to do some things downtown possibly, but adding some vibrancy to the parade, adding some vibrancy to some of the events that you do in the evenings. I think that could be worthwhile. I do not think that this is an ideal place for you. I don't. Yeah. I just don't.
No, you're right.
I want to try to challenge Amy, and I would also volunteer to try to find a better place for you in the vicinity if that doesn't work out. But even if it's another temporary solution after this, I think that that's really what we need to look at. And so that's just kind of where I'm at with all of this. I hear everyone and taking it all in and trying to balance all this and be a voice of reason for the city, and balancing this. So I think I've covered all my stuff.
Thank you. Kara?
I don't really think that there's anything I can say that they haven't said. And honestly, the downtown businesses, when I ran in 2020, that's always been a passion of mine, to see this downtown Angels area grow. And I would love to partner up with, like Caroline was saying, trying to figure out ways that we can build businesses, how we can bring businesses here, because I agree. I like Angels better than Murphy's. I'm not a Murphy's person. I'm sad to see my favorite store leaving because I frequented a lot. So I echo everything they say, but I will say one other thing too, is I have also known most of these kids and these teachers since, well, they were tiny. They're a great group of kids. They are easy to communicate with. They are very adult-like when they have conversation. I mean, they're good kids. I know that the way that this all started out is probably a little rough, but I do think they're amazing. I do think that there's something you guys need help with or fixed or what. I mean, they're these kids that do everything. And I'm not kidding when I say that. So I just hope that it all works and like harmonizes. And I agree with Caroline too. It's not the ideal spot for you guys.
Right.
But I love the Mo's family. And hopefully you guys will be able to find something that's big enough to house. I'd love to see it grow. I think that's great. So I do wish you guys all the best of luck a bit. Yeah, I'd love to help businesses too where I can. I really would. I think that's very huge and important in our community.
Oh.
I've crossed a lot of things off. There was something to talk about. But I would like to piggyback what these three have 100% said. I would love to see downtown like it was 30 plus years ago. I mean, there was Angels Food downtown, Holton Tire, Bank of America was there. There was a donut shop. There was all sorts of vibrant stuff. I remember tubing down the creek, and there was all sorts of stuff. And I don't know if the school education center in the downtown, I don't know if it hinders it or it's just another piece of the puzzle for the moment. We still need to get more downtown, and I'm not sure how to get more, if that makes sense. And we've been through COVID, and I love seeing Jubilee Business of the Year by Murphy's Angels Rotary Club sitting right in front of us. Reynolds downtown. There's a whole group of people there's a whole group of people that are doing some amazing things. And so for me and what Caroline talked about, if you guys could give us your top 5 of things that will help you. You might not be able to do all of them, but let's try and do 2. And then maybe next year we can do another couple again. But bring me some things to do, and I would love to help you guys all do it because I would love to see what it was when I was a young kid too. So with that being said,
And when we look at budget too, I mean, we're gonna start looking at that in February, March, and so.
Yeah.
It's a good time to start talking
But
about
yeah, the people that are sitting in this room, I love seeing your faces here, and
All the
please come give us some ideas.
Or just don't leave.
Things that you guys want or need. So
Yeah.
there you go.
One of the things that anytime any organization, any city goes through change, there's always that frustration. And what is that change going to look like? Is that change going to be scary? And I think the more we live with the school down there, or the more that we work together, the better our city is going to be. And I appreciate all the comments, and I think what we're trying to do, and the next agenda item speaks to that, is that we're going to pass a resolution to look for funding to help support the local businesses. And Amy, if you guys stay, which we'd love to have you stay, you will hear that. I mean, we are chasing dollars every way we can, and unfortunately, we have a highway that goes through our town. We're not Murphy's, and I don't think maybe all of us maybe don't want to be Murphy's. We'd love to have that traffic, but the reality is, we need to support and talk more about our uniqueness and what makes us special and then attract. And I truly believe that having the school downtown while it seems scary and while we're thinking it's going to chase off business, everybody in that school is a captive audience. They have to eat lunch. They're going to shop downtown during Christmas and holidays and things. So and I don't want us to be driven by, oh my gosh, it's going to be that last straw that broke the camel's back. Let's wait and see. We heard from Brooke that it's not going to be long term, and those kids are our future. And and we need to be able to be as supportive as we can as we move forward. So again, I appreciate the comments. I was talking with Amy today about economic development and how we need to start making that a priority and have a face to economic development. And that's something, Steve, that we probably need to agendize for a future item and start talking about how we need to move forward and who the face of economic development is. So, with that said.
Before you make a vote, can I make one comment?
No, sir. Public comment is done.
So, Mr. Mayor, if you, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-87A, denying the appeal, upholding the planning commission's approval of resolution 25-15 with the conditions as approved by the planning commission.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? I have to open it.
No.
Just roll call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michelle.
Aye.
Sharado.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Roleo.
Aye.
I'm going to want to thank all of you for coming. We're now going to take about a 10-minute break or a 5-minute break. Thank you so much. We're moving on to action item 7B, resolution 25-88, authorizing an application for a micro enterprise community development block grant. Amy.
Mayor and council members, at almost exactly this time last year, we were here asking you almost exactly the same thing, and that was for approval to apply for a $1.5 million micro enterprise community development block grant, with the intention of being able to use that money to assist small businesses, especially in the historic district, with the intent of trying to get some of those vacant buildings activated, if you will. In other words, Utica Hotel, we talked to the owner and said, hey, could you get at least one of your street level buildings open within 2 years if we helped you financially? Could we change that one window you have that's rotting and allowing leaking so that you can open up for business? Can we give you an ice cream maker so that you can expand what you're doing to include something else? Can we give you working capital to start up a business and things like that? And those were all things that we heard from approximately 20 merchants who showed up at a meeting we held for this grant. We did not get that grant. Within 1 hour of it opening, all the money was subscribed. And we talked to some people who were successful in getting that grant, our former grant writer. And it turns out that what they do is they have 6 different people working on the application simultaneously so they can be the first person to get that grant. So we would like you to authorize us to take our entire staff. We will all go through that training on how you upload it, and we will have 6 people ready to upload this grant so that we have a better chance of getting this money. And 25% of all the money this round has to go to those of us who did not get money in the last round.
That's good. That's
So that gives us a little.
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
So, just like Utica Park, it took us 3 times. 3 times was the charm. Well, we're hoping 2 times will be the charm on this. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And then would you please reiterate, what would that mean for our downtown businesses or businesses?
I think it would be huge because you could reactivate's a fancy word, but sometimes you need small victories to build on. And you need to see one success story to start building on that. And I think this is one of the ways to do it, to get some infusion of small bits of cash and pushing people who are maybe teetering on the edge to go further, to at least try it. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful to have an incubator for small businesses to try things out at one of Betty Weider's safety buildings? I mean, I can dream, can't I?
Yes,
But
yes.
we all dream, you know, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'd like to try it.
Scott, any questions of Amy?
I mean, is this a matching? Is there any, or is it just 100%? So there's no 25, 75, no nothing, no match? Okay.
No brainer.
What's up?
No brainer.
Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure there was no.
The hardest part of this is getting enough people together to submit it as fast as possible.
I'll volunteer.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, can I go down there and do it?
Yeah.
I'm happy to sit.
We'll all do
it. Yeah. Maybe we've got a bunch of business people here who want to maybe help too.
I know.
Or camping
The good news is this was due December 1st. They just changed it to April.
Oh, well, that's good news.
And we have the one we wrote last year, so we need to go update it and finish up a couple gaps that we had.
Kara, any questions? Caroline?
No, let's.
Scott, any questions from the public? No, we're for it. You said we all volunteer. Is there anyone online, Michelle, with a comment?
No comments online.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2588.
I'll second.
Caroline?
Yeah.
So there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? Hearing none, any comments from the public present? Anyone online, Michelle? Hearing none? Roll call.
Beho.
Aye.
Sharado.
Aye.
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
All right.
Okay, moving on to item 7C, resolution 25-89, change order number 4 in the amount of $3,000 for Augustine Planning and Associates and Company to prepare and submit a 2025 CDBG micro enterprise grant. Steve.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you tonight is a request to consider approving resolution 2589 as a change order. You will note that the staff report was written by the city planner, Amy Augustine, but I thought it would be more appropriate for me to present the item. So what we are asking for is, just by way of history, the city contracts for planning services with Augustine Planning and Associates. The most recent renewal of that agreement was in 2023 in an annual amount of $90,000. So Amy serves the city as a contractor with our city planner. Okay. Since that contract was approved in 2023, 2 change orders have been approved by city council totaling $15,000. Change order 1 and change order 2 were both related to the Utica Park project that Amy did a lot of work on, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Amy, for all of that. So this would be another change order to her original agreement. Amy is the one that applied for this grant last year. She did all the work beforehand, prepared all of the documents. The window opened at, I think it was 9 o'clock in the morning. We had everything, we being Amy, had everything submitted by, I think it was 10:30. And as she mentioned, it was already closed.
Wow.
So the goal this time is to engage in this change order that would allow Amy to do the work of updating the application that we submitted last year, make sure everything's current. We are going to have all hands on deck, thanks to Michelle and her staff. As Amy mentioned, there in the staff report, you'll note that there's a December 1st deadline for the grant, which is really the opening of the grant. We got notified, I believe it was yesterday, that date has changed till April 1st, and we believe the reason is probably because of the government shutdown, the federal shutdown, and there are these classes that are required for the submitters to take, and because of the shutdown, none of those classes were offered. So anybody that's going to have a part in submitting the application has to go through these, it's either 3 or 4 online classes. So all of our staff is going to do that, and the hope is we will get our information submitted as quickly as possible when the April 1st, 9 a.m. window opens and get the 1.5 million for our business community, and we'll be happy staff. So again, just to summarize, the request for you today is to approve a change order for Augustine Planning and Associates in the amount of $3,000 for the work necessary to prepare the grant application. One more note, if we were to engage a professional grant writer in this instead of contracting with Amy to do it, the rough estimate is about $15,000 to $20,000 for that work to be done. And typically there's about a $40,000 retainer requested. So we would engage a professional grant writer, we would commit $40,000, and about 15 to 20 of that 40 would be committed just to this one project. So we're getting a pretty good deal by Amy being willing to do this work for us. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions from council?
I've worked with Amy on grant applications, and she is certainly very well qualified to get this done.
Any comments from the public who are present?
Thank you.
Any comments from anyone online, Michelle?
No comments online.
Hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll move the item.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? Any discussion from the public present? Anyone online? Hearing none, roll call.
Behill.
Aye.
Sharado.
Aye.
Chiante.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Moving on to item 7D, Resolution 25-96, declaring management and operational responsibilities for the Greenhorn Creek Landscape and Lighting Assessment District Number 2. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Next item before you is a request to approve Resolution 2596, declaring the management and operational responsibilities for the Greenhorn Creek Landscape and Lighting District Number 2. Just as a bit of background, the Greenhorn Creek Landscape and Lighting District has two purposes. One is to fund the ongoing protection and preservation of on-site environmental resources, and the second primary purpose is to fund the maintenance of streetlights, landscaping, curb and gutter and sidewalks, entry monument signs, and related community use infrastructure within the Greenhorn Creek development. Essentially, this is it's called an LLD, Lighting and Landscaping District, which means the residents in this particular, it's called a district. Residents within this particular district pay an additional fee on top of their regular property taxes so that streetlights can be maintained, and curb gutters and sidewalks can be maintained, and the common area landscapes can be maintained. When this was first created in June of 1995, it was the City of Angels Camp Landscape and Lighting District Number 1, with a maximum assessment per parcel of $300 annually. That's how it was originally designed. In 2022, the city went through a Proposition 218 process that allowed for additional assessments. It's basically the residents assessing themselves at a higher rate because the amount that was originally determined wasn't keeping up with increased costs, additional expenses, and so forth. So after that Proposition 218 process in August of 2022, the Landscape and Lighting District Number 1 was dissolved, and the Landscape and Lighting District Number 2 was created. That Landscape and Lighting District Number 2 allowed for an increase in essentially self-assessment from $300 per parcel to $650 per parcel, which could be increased on an annual basis based on the Consumer Price Index. Currently, and it's based on fiscal year. So this current year, the maximum assessment per parcel or per single family equivalent is $716. The current assessment is lower than that though. They could assess themselves at $716. The current per equivalent assessment is $595. Okay. So that's been going on since 2022. When that Proposition 218 process happened, almost concurrently with that, the city established an LLD board, Landscape and Lighting District Board. It was somewhat of an informal establishment, and what it amounts to is residents within the district themselves appoint people to their own board that then manages the day-to-day operations of the needs of the district. For example, if the grass needs to be mowed in the common areas, this LLD board has the authority to engage in a contractor to come and do it. I think in the case of the landscaping particularly, this board made a recommendation to the city council, and the city council is the one that actually engaged in the agreement for the landscape services. But things like, if a resident calls and says, the street light in front of my house is out, they call a member of the board that then takes care of making sure the work gets done, taking the work off of the city staff. So this board has basically been taking care of their own area since about 2022. Sorry, I can't see without my flip-on glasses. There is an engineer's report that is produced annually by a third-party engineer that basically goes over the history of the district and describes what needs to be done each year. It helps the district establish a budget, and this document that is produced by this engineer basically describes what needs to be done for a particular year. The most recent year, the most recent engineer's report was produced in June of 2025, and it included an annual budget for the landscape and lighting district of $317,285 with a $595 per single-family equivalent assessment. That was produced in June of 2025. In October of 2025, a member of the Lighting and Landscape District Committee inquired whether the committee's members individually were covered by the city's insurance plan for errors and omissions. Errors and omissions means that you as city council members, you sit as elected officials. If somebody were to sue, our insurance company would cover the members of the board. An initial determination, we belong to, it's called a Risk Management Association. It's, 50 to 70 different cities all around the state that all contribute to this pool of insurance. So staff inquired to the Risk Management Association that we belong to, if something were to happen, would the members of this LLD board be covered by our insurance? The initial response is no. There would be no coverage from our insurance pool for the individual members of the LLD board. The tricky part is they won't give you a concrete answer up front. They won't say, without doubt, without question, this will be covered. They will tell you, without doubt, without question, this will not be covered, but it's not until a claim is filed, the city submits it to the RMA, and the RMA goes through their evaluation process on a case-specific claim that they will give you a concrete answer that it will not be covered, or it will be covered. So with that information, the LLD board dissolved itself about 2 weeks ago. So for about the last 2 weeks, there officially is no LLD2 board, and all of the work that LLD2 board was doing now falls on the city because it's the city's responsibility ultimately. It's just the LLD board was doing the day-to-day work. Now the day-to-day work falls on the city. So with that, I've spoken with members of what was the LLD board before they dissolved. They very much want to be involved. They very much want to continue their service to the city in this way, but understandably, they're not willing to do it if they're not covered by insurance. So there are a couple of options. Option number one, no particular order. Option number one, we could go through the process. So I only have an email from the executive director of the RMA saying, no, we have made a determination that your LLD board is not covered. Well, that's an email and it's somewhat official, but it is not an official declaration in writing, from the Risk Management Association itself. We could go through the process of formally requesting an endorsement that would in writing, include errors and omissions coverage for this LLD board. That process takes about 4 months because it has to go through one level and then a month later another level and another. So it would be about April before we get that determination. That is one option that we could do. Another option is to formally recognize the LLD2 board, much like we have a planning commission that is formally recognized by the city and it is an official arm of the city. This LLD board, the city council, either by resolution or by ordinance, could officially recognize the LLD board, and then they would almost certainly be covered. And again, they won't claim in advance, yes, everything is covered, but it's very clear by their definition of covered parties that it includes boards and committees and officially recognized arms of the city. I'm pretty confident with that if you choose to go that direction, that our Risk Management Association would cover them. It would, however, mean a change in operations. If the city were to formally recognize and appoint people to the RMA board, they would no longer be self-governed. You know, they couldn't appoint themselves. Like with the Planning Commission, they would have to apply to the city. The city would present it to the council would officially appoint the members of that board. Like with the Planning Commission, there would need to be staff involvement in that we would create the agenda for their meetings, we would post their meetings in compliance with the Brown Act. Staff members would be present at the meetings to, like I am here to advise you on things, we would have to have a staff member go to the board meetings to advise that board on things. Staff would have to take minutes of their meetings and make sure that all of the areas of the Brown Act are in compliance. That's certainly the cleanest way to go. It is going to take some staff time, and it would be appropriate, it's not necessary and it's not prohibited, it would be appropriate for the staff time that it takes to commit to that LLD board be charged to the LLD fund, which could result in an increase in the LLD per parcel fees nominally, so that's something to consider. Option number 3, we could hire an employee. We could use we could use LLD funds to hire either a part-time employee or a full-time employee or multiple employees, whatever it takes, so that existing staff, which we're very limited in our existing staff, maybe we hire a dedicated staff member with LLD money to handle the day-to-day operations of that district. Last one that I have is you can continue to operate like we are right now as of 2 weeks ago. City staff is responsible for everything associated with the landscape and lighting district. So those are kind of the options that I've come up with. A 5th option would be some hybrid of that or something else that you guys would like to do. So we're not limited to these. These are just ideas that staff came up with. We have at least one member of the LLD board here.
I say, I know we have one.
Of the former LLD board here. But I'd be happy to answer any questions about my staff report and my comments in here.
No, I don't believe it's fair to the LLD or the city to look at any other option as opposed to looking at a resolution that would allow the LLD to have a commission be formed. I have some specific questions about the commission. One is, if the council moves in that direction to help form a commission through resolution, could Steve, Tom start working on the selection process so we could do both at the same time?
You could, and I'd recommend ordinance, make it even more official when we go to have them covered.
I have a comment on that too.
But according to Steve, the ordinance would take months.
Right, you gotta do a first reading, second reading.
Yeah.
And what we could do in the interim, we did something very similar recently where we adopted a resolution which immediately took effect. And then we go through the process of creating an ordinance that makes it more permanent.
Okay,
The
we
action,
did that.
is that appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my other question is, can the commission members be a specific group of people, like Greenhorn residents, whereas our
Or
planning
like people
commission.
who pay into that.
Yeah, because they
Because they
pay,
pay
because
into
they
it.
pay into
That would be
that.
the,
Yeah, that's the people
Right,
who
yeah.
actually
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
into the
that's my
LLD
point.
would be
Right,
eligible to be on the LLD.
eligible to be in the LLD. Is that okay, would that be okay?
yes,
Okay.
and recommended, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from the council?
That was my question.
Yeah, that was mine too.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, you got it, buddy.
We're being in sync, that's fine.
Oh, I had a question about the like a DNO. Can they get directors and officers insurance and just pay that and that covers them if they wanted to stay a separate entity or like a,
We're not, it's not an
It's not-
entity,
it's
they
not
can
a-
be, it's just a.
because you don't have any bylaws, right? You don't have any.
Well, we have governance documents. Well, for the record, I was the chair of the LLD committee, and we have Steve Wilcox back there, who's our landscape management and probably the most involved person. We are, back when it started, the LLD used to have city staff on it, and it was a bona fide committee. And there were the Greenhorn residents themselves were button heads about whose responsibility is what. But long story short, the city got tired of that, said, screw it, you guys are done, we're gonna take over. Well, then nothing happened. And so finally in 2022, a group of people got together and revitalized this, and it's been working great. So we really do want to come back and formalize this as quick as we can so we can get back to work. We're fortunate over the next few months, if it takes that long to get this done, we already have our landscape contracting control. We just had our sidewalks all repaired. We've had our streetlights all refurbished. There's not a lot to do. The defensible space has been cleared. There's not a lot to do over the next 3 or 4 months. So this is a good time to get this squared away. And like Steve said, we are anxious to continue the service we have. And I think, we are billed a certain amount. I think it's $5,000 a year or something. Steve, I don't know. The city does bill us for arranging the engineer's report and doing some of the city work.
The administrative fee, yes.
Yeah,
Administrative fee. And I think that should cover the staff time. It's only a couple hours a month in meetings, because the cost savings to the city is tremendous, with this in place. So hopefully it doesn't add to more costs on the LD by putting this and doing it right. But I appreciate the support if we can go ahead and whether by resolution or ordinance, formalize this committee and
You wanna know.
So how do other agencies, like I know there's a Poker Flat Homeowners Association, and there's other associations, I think there's one in Forest Meadows.
we don't have an HOA.
Yeah,
No, so it's not, so is that the distinction, that there's an
Right.
HOA, but I know there's other,
This was
with
put in.
LAFCO, there's other districts.
When
How do
Greenhorn-
how do the
Greenhorn-
districts govern themselves without having insurance on themselves?
Well, they don't, and honestly, my opinion, which means nothing, is that we are covered because we do go by, the engineer's report does provide us the direction, so the city is directing us. We're being directed, our activities are directed by the city, but I'm not willing to put my money up to fight that.
Right.
So
No, I get it.
right?
I understand where you're going, and I do agree that in 2022, when that transition was made, was a great transition, and I want to go back to it. Is what I just had that one question, so, okay. That's all I got.
Kara, anything? Caroline?
I've got my question answered.
Scott, anything else?
I don't think so. Any questions? Randall, you have a question?
Now, open it to the public.
Not from your seat.
Now you have to
know.
stop. What a rule breaker you are.
Did you serve on city council? Yes.
He's a rebel.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Reynolds is scoring on this side now. Can I ask what your opinion is on doing this?
You certainly may, and I will give it in a moment when you're done. Would you like me to stand next to you or take your place?
I mean, there's plenty of room. My only comment is, I live in Greenhorn also, and I think that everything is really well taken care of there. I'm an anti-government being involved in things. I always think when the government gets involved, it's a lot more convoluted, it's a lot more paperwork, it's a lot more expensive. And so if there's a way that we could work it out, or possibly the LLD would possibly be able to purchase their own insurance that would be covered by the individual parcels. That might be something that would work instead of merging with all of that. Thank you.
Yeah, the LLD is not its own entity though, that's the problem. We're not a 501(c), we're not a LLC, we're not.
Remember, we collect the money for them.
We're nothing.
That's good. Okay.
Group of concerned citizens do a lot of work.
I know this may sound like a dumb question, but if it was incorporated somehow or whatever, could it be like,
Or you got a business license.
yeah, like,
The problem is that the city collects those
The
fees.
funds,
We
right.
collect the fees through
To the tax roll.
the tax roll, yeah, and so then, and
The
then
city's involved.
the city's involved, and then the city is the one that is out there doing the work, it's because we've collected the funding, so
Right, I
it's
think-
very.
is there a way to not have the city collect?
I think they'd have to form you'd have to form an HOA or
And
something.
you have to have 100%
Yeah.
of your residents sign on for an HOA, which will never happen.
Right.
So I was just wondering if they became a corporation and they can be insured that way through being a corporation.
You'd have to become an entity of something, and you'd have to have that 100%.
Yeah.
You'd never get it.
Yes, sir. Please state your name first.
My name is Steve Wilcox,
Hi,
and I
Steve.
really didn't want to speak, but since I was put on the spot here, I guess I have to. I'm very shy. I've been involved with the committee for the LLD since day one, very active in promoting the proposition and dedicated to this. We have about 10 very professional, very qualified members on our committee that have done a great job, and we've made a lot of progress. The first thing we did was clearing over 30 years of deferred maintenance for defensible space, getting rid of all the fire hazards. And so we're doing a great job, and I think all of us on the committee now want to continue. This is a mission for us, and we want to keep doing it, and I think we're doing a really good job. So we're looking for help. And I want to put this in context because, we're a rich people's community and, we don't want to come across like spoiled, but I want to put it in context. Because something came out of this that was not intended. And it happened this past spring. We became a fire-wise community with 680 homes in Greenhorn and around us.
Right.
The reason we were able to do that is because the money we spent from the LLD, deferred maintenance and defensible space plan, all that counted toward the substantial financial qualification that is demanded by Firewise. And then, once we got that going, we were requested to expand to all of 95222, which we have. That costs our committee about 75 grand a year to keep that Firewise in place every year. Between the money that we're spending from the LLD, we've also gone to a couple of our neighbors. Rural Mark Resort spends a substantial amount of money in weed abatement and other work. And Greenhorn Creek spends a lot of money in similar work. And there's a couple other, the gallery, other HOAs in our neighborhood. They're all reporting all of that money. So we are virtually guaranteed to continue as a Firewise community, which we've really not even begun to scratch the surface on the economic benefits to our city.
I agree.
So,
And that's for the whole zip code too.
that's for the whole zip code.
The whole zip code.
So as the city, if we do weed abatement or something, does that go towards the money spent if we give you $1? Sorry, we're getting off topic.
That is something that I've talked with Chief Horvath, Public Works money.
Yeah.
There's grants coming that have been already approved. That money all counts if it takes place within our zip code.
Within the zip code, yeah, perfect.
So we're not worried about keeping the money going. Our focus right now, we just had a very successful Firewise Festival. We're gonna keep doing it every year because there is no way for a Firewise community to take donations and receive money. So we've partnered with the County Resources Conservation District. They're hosting all the donations, and the money that we just made on the Firewise Festival, we're gonna create a state-of-the-art website that every Firewise community in Calaveras County will share in it. We'll each have our own homepage. We are also designating money for scholarships for fire science cadets.
Oh, neat.
We are providing money for individual Firewise communities to do outreach and education. And I'm looking forward to getting direction from the city on how we can best, because most of the folks in Angels Camp don't even know what Firewise is. And getting that first discount, we have folks in Greenhorn Creek that are saving $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a year on the first discount that they get just for living here, doing nothing. The second discount, which is the work of Firewise, is to get these people to invite our committee. Well, I have 6 fire professionals retired in Greenhorn Creek that volunteer. They're going through training from Cal Fire in January to be certified to go into people's yards and give them advice about what they can do to become more fire safe. And that's where the work is, making our community safer. That is so important to the residents because they can double their discount on their fire insurance if they check off the items on the list. So that's where we're going, and we have a lot of outreach to do in the city. And we're also,
We're gonna get back to the LLC.
Yeah.
We're gonna get back to the
LLC. We took a commercial break. So
anyway, I look forward to continuing to work on the LLC committee.
And do you support the idea of the by resolution, which could follow with an ordinance to form a commission?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And most of our committee members have chimed in agreement on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Anyone online for public comment, Michelle?
No public comment online.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Well, hang on, I gotta finish the motion. To formally recognize the LLD2 committee as a commission of the city, to pass the resolution for a temporarily appointing the members, then followed by an ordinance recognizing them officially. Is that right?
Bingo. I think you nailed it. That was pretty good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Forgot the numbers though, 256.
I don't want to second it now.
Okay.
I second it. There's been a motion and a second. Any other comments from
Go for it.
No, there's no more comments.
the public? Yes, there is. Shh. Any, I feel like I'm an orchestra up here, or I'm Italian or something. Any other comments from the public? Anyone online, Michelle?
No comments online.
I didn't ask if the council had any other comments. If not,
No.
Michelle, roll call, please.
Sorry, I was reading all.
Speedhill,
Aye.
Gerardo,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Bolio.
Aye.
All right, moving on to item 7E, Resolution 25-95, repurposing. Thank you, folks, for coming. I'll pause for a moment.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, Hector. Hi, everybody. Nice seeing you guys.
Sorry.
Thank you. Bye, thank you.
I told you they would fail.
Bye, guys.
Were you gonna fall under peer pressure, girl?
We're all going to jump off there, okay. Hey, Resolution 25-95, repurposing the COG funds, which is Calaveras County
Council of Governments.
Council of Governments, funded grant match of $40,000 and forfeiting the Safe Streets for All grant. Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of council. For you is a request to consider resolution 2595. I hate giving back money, but the fact is that the city was awarded a grant back in 2024 in the amount of $160,000 with a $40,000 match for a total of $200,000 for something called the Safe Streets Grants. At the time, staff prepared, I forgot the official term, but it's like a task list, like a list of things that would be accomplished by this grant. And one of the major things was increasing the safety around the Mark Twain Elementary School by way of restriping crosswalks, painting curbs, installing stop signs, and having a better control over the traffic flow in that area during drop-off and pickup hours. The city engaged in some of that work, and in fact, all of that work. We repainted the street, the crosswalks, painted the curbs, installed the stop signs, worked with school administration to help facilitate the flow of traffic. But we did that work before the grant was officially executed.
Oh, no.
Which means that once the grant was officially executed, we couldn't count the work that we had already done, which was the main purpose for that grant. We couldn't charge it to the grant. So we've been sitting, after having accomplished the main purpose of the grant, with the inability to charge that work to the grant. So for that reason, since in the opinion of staff, including the city engineer who is managing this grant, since the majority of the work was done, we recommend that the city forfeit the grant. I've spoken with the executive director of Calaveras Council of Governments, or COG, Melissa. COG actually contributed the $40,000 match. So originally, I think it was going to be a $20,000 from the city and $20,000 from somewhere else. At some point along the line, the city administrator approached COG, and along with a similar grant that the county got, working together, COG was able to fund the full match for the city in the amount of $40,000. The executive director has told me that if we forfeit this $160,000 U.S. Department of Transportation grant, she would support the city, since it's already been programmed, keeping that $40,000 for other street and sidewalk improvement use throughout the city. So the request is to authorize the forfeiture of the grant. COG is going to meet tomorrow, or the Technical Advisory Committee, which I'm a part of, is going to meet tomorrow to consider the request for the city to keep the $40,000 match from COG. And then we can program that use anywhere in the city for any purpose related to street improvements or sidewalk improvements, that sort of thing.
So we can't use the $160,000 for street improvements, like, potholes are safety issues.
We cannot, because the purpose of the grant and the specific tasks identified when the grant was awarded, I want to say there was about $160,000 in engineering fees. And there was about $40,000 in actual work to be done. So I hate that. We can't now go back and reprioritize the needs for the grant, because the grant was awarded based on the initial submission of what we were going to do with that money. We just did it before we got the money.
So Steve, I'm confused.
Yeah.
The work that we did at Stanislaus and Oneida and San Joaquin cost money. So was that was the $40,000 that was used? Who paid for the city paid for that work?
Yes.
And so now the city is going to get reimbursed for that work.
Yes.
So the decision would be either to put that back into the general fund or allocate it for some additional
Are you
work.
talking about the 40?
The 40, that's what I'm talking about.
Because we lost the other funding.
Right,
Yeah,
not,
just the
but
40.
just the 40.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're essentially getting paid back for the work that we did, if that work did cost $40,000.
I would defer to Michelle, but I think that if we keep the $40,000, and it's essentially, I won't say unrestricted, but it's not nearly as restricted as the $160 from the actual grant, but the $40,000 match, COG will approve that use for anything within the entire city for street, road, sidewalk, safety, or maintenance. So we would have the option, I'd have to defer to Michelle and make sure this is okay, to either repay the city with that $40,000 for the work already done, and things like buying the paint that we use to paint the sidewalks and the street signs and the stop signs and all that, or that was a fairly nominal amount of money. We could, if we don't go that way, we could use the entire $40,000 on repaving a street that needs to be repaved.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
We need more money for asphalt.
I don't have any issue with using that $40,000 to help with street maintenance. I just wanted to make sure and clarify for the public and for, I guess, my own edification, that the city did expend dollars to upgrade that intersection.
Yes.
And those dollars were spent. Now, we're gonna get that $40,000 that we could choose to either repay the city for the work or use that to help improve our roads.
Correct.
I'm all in favor of helping to improve our roads.
Amen.
Okay, I'm all in favor of that, but I wanted to make sure we just wanted to clarify that point, that's all.
The 40,000 could be used to reimburse the staff time.
Right.
Could be used to reimburse for the purchase of the paint and the.
Right.
So that's option one, reimburse for the work that we've already done, or repurpose that money, since that money's already spent, that project's already done, repurpose it for another street that needs some help in the city.
So, just to be clear, it's probably a silly question, but the 160,000, there's nothing else around the school for school safety or anything like that that those funds can be used for?
Within the grant application itself,
Yeah.
$160,000 is for engineering fees. For the city engineer to do the work required to improve safety. I think there was about a $20,000 for some type of technology.
Communication system.
Communication system, so
Yeah.
that the administration could communicate with the parents for drop off and pick up. But the bulk of that 160 from the US Department of Transportation was for engineering fees, which we don't need because we've already done the work.
Thank you, sorry.
Any other comments from the council? Any?
Sure, go ahead.
You, don't go ahead.
No, my only comment would be, I think this is absolutely wonderful, and I would love to, this is a little pool of money that we got kicked to us. So I would love to advocate for some people that have been very patient and looking for it, as there's a house on Bush Street that has been having some issues, so I'm willing to do that as long as we advocate it and spend it in a proper way. Some projects that have been on the back burner or something like that, so.
Some unfinished projects from like 20 years ago.
Yes, so, okay, there's my.
Yeah.
Any other comments from the council? Any comments from the public?
It's nice of COG to kick us the money. Let's keep it.
Tori?
I have a question, yeah.
You're supposed to stand up, don't make me be a rule
Well, this is a
breaker.
question, this isn't like a public comment, it's a.
I know, but I think you're supposed to stand before I get in trouble.
You're always in trouble.
All right, yeah, that's right.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Cory.
so my question is, how was that worked done so that the $160,000, wasn't able to be used? It's almost like by jumping the gun or planning and doing the expenditure before the money came in, or how was the grant written so that the money couldn't be used? I mean, it seems like such a shame that that money has to be returned because of maybe what happened that wasn't able to be used. I mean, you said that the work was done before the money came in, but it's almost like, well, maybe the grant application should have said that it would include maybe some of this other stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, why wouldn't you just wait to have to do that work until you have the grant?
Yeah, my understanding is the city was notified that we were awarded the grant.
Right.
And so we proceeded with the work to be done. But there is a technicality that we can't use the money for the grant that we were awarded until the grant is fully executed. And it wasn't fully executed until months later after is it even executed yet?
Don't know, but there was a federal freeze on
Yes.
transportation funds that held up.
That doesn't seem to be like the city's fault then.
There was a goal to get these improvements made for Mark Twain Elementary before the school year started. So there was an urgency.
Repaint, there was the crosswalk.
Right.
And since the grant had not been officially executed by all parties and the work was done, it was a timing thing. It was, when was the grant fully executed and when was the work done? And if one came before the other, you can't use it for that.
That's crazy.
Doesn't seem
I agree.
Okay. Any other comments from the public?
Yeah.
Michelle, anyone online?
No comments.
Great. We'll bring it back for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we repurpose the $40,000 and forfeit the Safe Streets for All grant, but repurpose the $40,000 for the pavement management program.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? Anyone from the public with a comment? Anyone online? Hearing none. Michelle?
Behill,
Aye.
Sharado,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Brolio.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to item 7F, Resolution 25-94, approving amendment to joint powers agreement of the Central San Joaquin Valley Risk Management Authority. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Next item is Resolution 2594,
Thank you,
approving
Amy.
an amendment to the JPA Joint Powers Agreement. We talked a little bit earlier when we were discussing the Greenhorn Creek issue about the city is part of a pooled insurance plan, and it involves 53 other member cities in the Central San Joaquin Valley. It's called the Central San Joaquin Valley Risk Management Authority. It's commonly referred to as the RMA, Risk Management Authority. That entity was formed on April 1st of 1979 by a joint powers agreement. And there have been revisions to that JPA over the years since 1979 when it was first approved. This is another amendment to that existing JPA. So the city has the option, all 53 member cities are being requested to have their elected bodies officially approve the amendment and the update to the JPA. We are one of about, I want to say, 4 or 5 cities that have not done that yet. There is a December 1st deadline to get that done. Otherwise, we risk the potential for loss of coverage. They may drop us from the plan if we don't get this done by December 1st. We were first notified about this in July of 2025. I recently received an email from the same executive director of the RMA saying, Angels Camp's one of the only ones that hasn't done this. Please get this done by December 1st. That's why it's on your agenda today with such a weighty agenda. There's an urgency to it. So I have had our city attorney's office review the JPA. They see no concerns with it. And so now it's in front of you for consideration to approve.
So this is almost a no-brainer, but I do have a question and a comment. You know, one of the things that you shared in your staff report and in our conversation is that the last meeting that you attended, they went case by case through claims. And they made a decision of whether or not to support that claim or not. And I hope, Michelle and Steve, that we have things in place that if we believe that the road we're going down is going to be litigious, that we contact and give them early information about whatever situation we're facing so that we can do whatever we need to do in their eyes to be supported in our claim if we are sued. That's my comment.
Thank you for bringing that up. And we would also be guided by our city attorney's office too. If we believe that we have a potential out there, staff would run it through our city attorney and then give as much advance notice to the RMA as possible. But I will note that as a member city of the RMA, there are quarterly meetings that are mandatory. And if you miss a meeting, there's a primary and a secondary. And right now, I am your primary for the RMA. And there was a meeting in October. If a member agency misses a meeting, we get a $1,000 fine. If we miss a second meeting, we'll be dropped from the plan. So it's very important that staff attends these quarterly meetings. At that meeting, I noted that the RMA has their own attorneys, right? And so at some point during this meeting, the RMA's attorney stood up and in front of the group full of 50 city managers went case by case for certain claims that had been submitted to the RMA and are being denied. And they would say, for example, XYZ city submitted a claim for this number of dollars. These are the general circumstances of the claim. I, as the RMA attorney, am denying the claim. So that's why I said on this last option, it goes through a process. Every claim that they receive goes through a process and they either approve it or deny it. There is a process that we can go through as a city if the RMA chooses to deny a claim. we have appeals process that we can go through. But that was an interesting note for me, just to recognize that because we're a member city, not every claim we submit is guaranteed coverage. So, thank you for reminding me.
Well, thank you, Steve.
We get our own insurance.
Any other comments from the council?
We gotta look into that.
Nope.
Nope. Any comments from the public? Any comments online? We'll bring it back to council for a motion.
I'll go along with this, but I think I want to agendize an item with shopping for insurance that actually can work with us.
Come on.
This is incredible.
You know, I don't believe it's unreasonable for a JPA to be given a heads up if we have an issue coming up board. And I would imagine all those cases that were denied, they just took it upon themselves and moved forward thinking that the insurance was going to cover it. So I think in this litigious world and the world that we live in, that where insurance controls a whole bunch,
Good luck.
I just think that we need to play by their rules and their game. There's been a motion. I'll second it. Any other discussion from council? Any discussion from the public? Anybody online? Thank you, Michelle. Roll call.
Behill.
Aye.
Sharado.
Aye.
Clemente.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Robio.
Aye.
Moving on to item 7G, Resolution 25-93, identifying recruitment strategies for the position of City Administrator. Steve Williams.
You're making Steve.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. My last item for this evening is to identify the recruitment strategies for the position of City Administrator. As you know, the City Administrator serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the city, is responsible to the City Council. It's one of only two. The City Administrator and the City Attorney are the two positions in the city that the City Council has direct control over. I have been serving as your interim city administrator since September 17th of this year, after your former city administrator resigned from the position. I am a PERS, retired annuitant, which means I am limited to 960 hours in a fiscal year. That's the maximum numbers of hours that I can work. If I continue on my current schedule, those hours will be exhausted by about April 1st of next year. I can reduce my hours if necessary, but if I keep on the existing schedule, it would be ideal to have a new permanent city administrator in place no later than April 1st. Now you have options. I reached out to 6 different executive search firms, otherwise known as headhunters, where they go out and they actively seek administrator or executive level positions. They have networks that they can tap into to draw interest into the city for this position. They prepare the flyers, they conduct the interviews, they evaluate the applications, they make recommendations to City Council, but ultimately it's your decision who you choose as your next permanent city administrator. So I reached out to 6 of those firms. One of them was unresponsive. One of them says they have no capacity, they're too busy to take us on, and 4 of them did respond to us. The 4 that did respond include Bob Murray and Associates, Koff and Associates, Peckham and McKinney, and WDCP. That sounds like an acronym, but I can't find anywhere what that acronym stands for. That's what's on all of their materials. So each of them have submitted a proposal for the full recruitment of a city administrator, starting in the month of January, and having the person in place, ideally, their goal would be by April 1st. They all say that is a realistic timeline. They have networks of people that they can reach out to attract interest to the position. The fee for this service ranges from the least expensive of $25,000 to the most expensive of $36,800. So there's levels of cost in between there amongst these 4 agencies that have been responsive. I will note that there is one firm, WBCP, in addition to giving me a proposal for their full service of start to finish finding your next administrator. They have what they call 5 different levels of service, ranging from $10,400 to the full cost of $36,800. It's all included in your packet. Their least expensive option would cover some of the process, but not all of the process. For example, option 1 would be, I think they create the flyer, they use their network to put the feelers out, they post it on all of their available platforms. The least expensive option, the $10,600, basically is an attempt to attract as many qualified applicants to us as possible, and then city staff would take it from there. Review the applications, narrow it down to a manageable number of applicants, conduct all of the interviews, and present the applicants for your review. Another option is to have city staff conduct the recruitment. We are actively recruiting for the position now, and we have been actively recruiting since I started on September 17th. This would be an enhanced effort, a focused effort from January through April to make sure that we have somebody in place as much as possible by April 1st. So we could not engage in an executive search firm and have city staff, much like what was done last time, do the work that these executive search firms do. So I bring these options to you to discuss, and I'd answer any questions that you have.
I have questions here. So since September, what have we been doing to actively seek administrator?
We have posted the available position in a publication called Western Cities Magazine. It's a commonly used by city administrators and city officials. We've posted, now the opportunity is available on our website, on our city website, with all of our other job postings, police officer and firefighter. Thank you, Councilmember Scott, for that suggestion. So it's on our website. It's available through Western City Magazine, and I can tell you that we do have, I receive all the applicants, resumes, applications, and letters of interest, and I have received some, so there are some that we've received to date.
How many?
3.
Okay.
It's the same 3 then.
It is.
Okay, so it's clear, so are we utilizing League of Cities or anybody else that?
Not yet. Before we engaged further,
Right.
I wanted to find out, do you want staff to do this, or do you want a firm to do this?
I don't know, I read all of them, but then I didn't put it into the chat.
I put it in AI as well.
I loved how it actually broke it down as far as scoring and stuff. That's important, actually. I thought it was really cool. But even my own reading, it's so hard because I'm new to this, but at the same time, I've lived here, and it's frustrating to watch us go through so many city administrators, and I'd like to see us stick with one. I did like the fact that they all, but not guarantee, but they all have like a time limit. They guarantee like the 12 months. There was one though, if I remember correctly, I don't remember which one, where it's a guarantee, but you have to pay like afterwards. But just looking at the other cities that they provide the city administrator for, reading like reviews on them from other people. I mean, it is a lot of money to spend, but at the same time,
I mean, how much has all this turnover cost the city? I mean, we just lost some grant money, and could be from turnover as well.
Right, and then, all kinds of stuff that goes with that. And so, I mean, honestly, like I said, it's hard to watch the money go out, but it is nice where they have further reach, they've got a track record that goes with them, they've got the advertising that they can hit different, especially the ones that have got such a long track record, as far as different places that they've done in the California area. I don't know, it seems.
And the other piece too is how much time it takes for
Away from
you
Steve
and our
and
other
staff.
staff.
Yeah.
And how that costs the city. So it does have a cost to the city. And if we're working on certain projects that you're moving forward and just, your day-to-day hours, like we don't have you full-time, so we have to be very cognizant of that.
And they specialize in this.
I know, they specialize. I was looking at the hybrid. So I was looking at the hybrid approach, and when I put it in, I read all this stuff, I put it into AI, and I was like, okay, so like, tell me about the hybrid option. And I liked how there was some, the cost efficiency was a lower, I mean, it's better because you're having them do that recruitment where that would kind of come off of that, your position. But then come back to us for the interviews. We could even do the resume review so that it's more of the localized input. So we would have that localized input of knowing what we're looking for through the rest of this stuff. So that was kind of what I was looking at.
That was one thing that I was trying to fully understand was, were they saying they were going to do the interviews for us? And
You can choose that part.
I didn't like that idea.
No, so you can have them cast their nets out wide because they have access to all those databases way beyond League of Cities. I mean, League of Cities is a good place to start. But then we take it from there. And then that's where maybe you would hold that piece. And that's the 10,600, I think, option. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, option one, yes, partial recruitment.
Yeah.
So there's,
They had like the background checks and stuff like that. They had the, I mean, with all that stuff. Some of those have those a la carte, and then that gets expensive.
But with that, the background stuff's easy. I mean, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, Steve, if you have a recommendation.
I do, I don't have my recommendation is that you go with an executive search firm. I don't have a recommendation on which particular one you go with, and I'd be happy to do it for you. I did it last time, and I'm proud of the process that we went through. We had community engagement, we had professionals involved, and ultimately we presented you with a finalist of a certain number of applicants for you to consider at the council level. But I am not a professional recruiter. I mean, I'll be happy to do it for you again. I just feel that you're going to get a better and more qualified and further reach, more depth to your applicant pool by going with an executive recruiter rather than having me do it.
So, not so much options, you would like us to hire a firm to do the whole thing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not the whole, well, I don't not want you to hire a firm to do the whole thing. At a very minimum, engage this one that helps get the word out, that helps attract the applicants, that develops the flyer for you, that gets people interested in the position. Because what happened last time is, like we're doing this time, we advertised in Western cities, and when the decision was made that staff was going to do the recruitment, we then went with the extra, like League of Cities. We advertised in like 3 or 4 different areas, and I just don't have access to the type of reach that these firms have access to.
Based on that, I'm leaning toward just doing a full search and let the professionals handle the job and see what comes out.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
I think your time and staff time, and we're short-staffed in some areas right now, I think can be much better utilized and will be money ahead by doing the full book. Yeah. Which one that is yet, I'm not 100% sure, but.
I know, it's Mike Pickering.
Did you have a favorite?
Well, and I did look at all of them too, but as I looked through, it looked like the Pickham and McKinney had like the.
Yeah, the McKinney.
Had the more bang for your buck, and they were closer, and.
I agree.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Any other comments from the council? Any
Yeah,
comments from?
McKinney right here.
Okay, my question is, unless I was the last page of the options.
Are you sitting?
Oh. You guys are all sitting. Okay, okay, so my question is, like, I didn't look through the whole agenda packet at all 5, or all 4, but the 4th one is the one that had the option breakout.
Right.
And it had from partial to the whole thing, and I just happened to see on the far right was that they had hiring authority.
Right.
So that was my question, are you prepared to?
I'm not good with that. I don't want to hire. I want to have the hiring authority stay.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to hire.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to hire.
Okay, so it's not the full.
But the full recruitment and, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I think I can answer that. On that one page that you were looking at, what it actually says is hiring authority and stakeholder meetings up to 2 days, community employee engagement panel coordination. So it's saying that the hiring authority, the city council, and other stakeholders will have meetings together.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
giving them the authority to hire.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
yeah, I was reading it, like, I wasn't reading it with comprehension. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Anyone online still awake?
No comments online.
Okay, we'll bring it back, so we tend to all agree that we want.
Do it, you got it.
You got it.
Okay, you know who? Okay,
Okay.
go for it.
Let me see if I say this right. I move to adopt resolution 2593, identifying recruitment strategies for the city administrator position, and I'm choose Pickham and
Kenny.
Kenny.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council?
There you go.
Any discussion from the public? Any discussion online?
Can I apply?
Actually,
Roll call.
and you're picking them because they're the closest one?
No, that was me looking over all of the different things between advertising, where they were located, their involvement with the city as far as like, and had a whole like breakdown of like their involvement working with us, where they are located, what their recruitment was, then they all pretty much have the 12-month
Guarantee?
yeah. So it was like, and then like the flyers, the brochures, so it was kind of a number of the different.
And also like who they've worked with and,
Yes.
and who they've placed in the past too, with similar sized cities and.
They'll give you like the breakdown of who they've.
City I own, City of Anderson,
Oh,
City of
question.
Corning, Pleasantville.
I am.
Fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
Thank you.
Michelle, roll call.
Yes, Behill,
Aye.
Sharado,
Aye.
Shemente,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Brolio.
You betcha.
Okay, moving on to item 8, informational items. Steve?
No informational items, thank you.
And moving on to item 9, admin report.
I do have some of those, real quick. Happy to announce that Frog Bucks has launched for the shopping season. Thank you to Michelle for doing the majority of the work to work with our third-party vendor to get that out there. It's been posted on our website, we've posted it on Facebook. We've worked closely with ACBA to determine the timing of the launch to coincide with some of the downtown activities. So that launched yesterday. Next thing is I had a Highway 4 corridor meeting today. Was that today? I had it today, yes. With CCWD, UWPA, and Union.
Yeah,
Okay.
PUD.
So that meeting happened today. It was a very productive, very promising meeting. Some good conversation happened between the 4 managers, and we've developed a draft timeline of bringing to each of the elected bodies or appointed bodies, in your case, the city council, an end of work product that talks about this consultant that would evaluate the Highway 4 corridor water systems, identify some of the strengths and weakness and where redundancies are necessary, where enhanced partnerships can be developed, secondary water sources, those types of things. So it was a very good meeting. I was very pleased after that meeting was over. And the last thing that I have for, we do have a next meeting scheduled, and it's for, I want to say January, because each of the agencies has some work to do on some draft documents that we review today. But we do have a next meeting scheduled, and then a timeline after that. So it was good news. Last thing that I have is, Caltrans started. Caltrans was scheduled to remove the delineators, reprogram the traffic lights, restripe the road, and essentially return the road to its pre-construction condition. That work was scheduled for this last Sunday, but because of forecasted rain, they're gonna have to paint on the road, and you can't paint in the rain, so they have delayed that project. They told me until next Sunday, but I saw them out there doing work today. They're out there measuring.
Yeah,
They've
we
already
have
removed
2
some
days
of the
of dry
delineators. So I'm happy to see that Caltrans heard the concerns of the council heard the concerns of the community and are actually doing the work necessary to get us through the winter season as safely as possible. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Moving on to council reports. Scott?
No report.
Caroline?
I went to the Veterans Day ceremony up in Murphy's, which was really well done. They did a great job at its past Veterans Memorial District. And then Angels Camp Veterans Memorial District gave out food vouchers to veterans in our district this last weekend, and we did 310. It's a record number of vouchers this year, and it was for $125 each. So we'll be doing that again on December 13th and 14th. So if anyone, just spread the word. I put it out on Facebook and it's posted in the post offices as well.
Karen?
I have nothing to report.
Elvin?
I have a meeting on Thursday, that's about it.
I don't have much to report. Shorty, who was here earlier tonight, though, she got the Angels Murphy's Rotary Business of the Year. So I've known Shorty for quite a few years, and I'm very proud of it. So that's awesome.
That's exciting. Nice.
Yeah. So.
That's very cool.
But yeah, not a whole lot going on. That's good.
And I have nothing to report.
Holidays, everything dies down.
I don't think I did anything.
Did you go to CSUN?
No, it's tomorrow. It's Thursday, but they actually have not sent an agenda out, so they're canceling the meeting.
I'll be ready for the next one.
Pretty much what happens.
It's what's typically they do. Correspondence.
None to report. Thank you.
Okay. And going on the calendar. We're at the end of the year, Michelle. That's crazy. Just 2 pages.
I know, just the last 2. And so CSED may not happen on Thursday.
Right, it may not happen.
And so going on to December,
What? I forgot. We went to the
Wagon trail.
The wagon trail.
Oh, the wagon trail ribbon cutting.
Ribbon cutting.
Right.
That's what we did.
Oh, right, and we had COG.
Yeah.
We had
It's
COG.
finally open.
Yeah, it is. I don't know.
late.
They don't have the
The
stoplight.
stoplight's still there.
Your brains are trying to match its light.
Right, but we did
It's been a
attend.
lot of going on.
Yeah, but it was.
We were also at COG, but
We
it's
keep our
okay.
brain suspense.
It's all right.
It was a great ceremony when they opened up the trail.
Yeah.
It really was, and it was well done.
Is it open yet?
No.
I did actually.
The ceremony was nice.
Why are they doing ribbon cutting when it's not
That's
open?
a different but that's a completely different project. That bridge has nothing to do with the wagon trail
Right,
project.
that's true.
So-
That's true. That's a Caltrans separate.
That is a separate,
Michelle,
yep.
I apologize, Michelle, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
December, I.
Oh,
not
I have a
sure
change, sorry, for November.
Sure.
So the November 25th UWPA meeting is now become a special meeting, and it's starting at 8:30 in the morning. We're doing interviews for the new GM.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
all day, so just a change.
Okay. And then for December, I don't have a whole lot. I wasn't sure if there were, with the holidays, if there were.
Are we
some
meeting,
standing
Email me.
The parade's the
the
first weekend.
16th? Okay, we are still meeting.
We have city council on the 2nd and the 16th of December, as of now.
I'm gonna guess make that UWPA meeting, well, it might stay, we'll see. Because if we hire a new GM, I guess we have to do it during a regular meeting, so,
Mhm.
Yes, we would.
right.
There goes your
Thank you.
Christmas Eve. Is it the parade and just?
Okay, any other-
The parade is the 6th.
Yep.
How come so early?
Early? It's usually right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, how come the decorations are already up? Making.
All right, so anything else with calendar, Michelle?
Nothing else.
I also believe on the 6th is the a ribbon cutting for the MACT Museum.
Oh, Mac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's open house from
When
like
is that?
10 to 4,
Right.
When is that?
and then the
On the
parade's at
On the
5.
6th, same day as the
December?
parade, yeah.
Oh, wait, the MACT open house is from 4 to
The
6?
museum.
No, it's at 10 to, I think it's 10 to 4.
Oh, 10 to 4.
It's on the 6th though.
It's on the 6th from 10 to 4. The parade starts at 5. And we have a party at 6:30.
Okay.
So, future agenda items, if I
Yes.
could start.
Go ahead.
I'd like you, Steve, maybe to talk with Mr. Bose about City Hall and maybe explore whether or not that could be a viable site for him. So at this point, I know we haven't done our master plan, but it may be an option.
Oh, old City Hall?
Yeah,
Oh, that was the original thought.
It's got a lot of parks.
so that's fine. And then the other thing
We've got a lot of
is,
issues.
It's got its
yeah,
own
it does, but it might,
And you did put a new roof
we
on.
have a new roof. So it might just be an option, who knows? And I'd like to piggyback on the conversation we had earlier about economic development. And maybe, bring some ideas to us about what that would look like, be a consultant or, what would that look like so that we could start kind of driving the car instead of the car driving
Oh,
us.
I did talk, say something to, can I talk?
No? Yeah. So those are my items.
No, I'm the one that he tells to.
Karen.
Well, no, I just don't know when my timing
Karen,
is anymore.
Karen.
No, I think that's a good idea, because that's what I was talking to Julie about, because I feel like she's kind of got a voice. And I thought it would be a good idea to meet up and kind of just see where they are and like what their thought process is and then go from there, but
I think it's best to agendize it and then come out of there with like ad hoc, town hall, like whatever it is that we want to do.
They had a great, ladies' night out.
I heard that too.
It was,
I
they
did hear
said,
that that was actually a really good event, which is funny.
it was all, there was just walking up and down and stopping with drinking wine and going and shopping. The more wine, the more shopping. Women shop.
There was about
Let's go.
5 or 6 dozen people who stood up.
Yeah.
No,
it was-
we didn't wrap up, sorry.
Let's go.
Wait, we're not done yet though. Scott.
Okay, I do.
I do.
I'd like to agendize, have a discussion with Destination Angels Camp, specifically to work with the stakeholders on 449 corners. We're talking about Punch and Foundry Lane through. I'd like to get ahead of some kind of plan, some kind of vision. And I think that Destination Angels Camp is in a unique position to put those stakeholders all together in the same room and maybe come up with some ideas. And then also, I would like to look into what's called entertainment zones. I heard on the radio the other day, Auburn has closed their downtown or Main Street or something Fridays through Sundays, for example. They maybe don't close it, but they allow people to walk around with alcohol and they let the party spill out into the street, if you will. And so I'd like to explore that for our downtown. Is there a way that we can, we have a captive audience in Greenhorn Creek with just one restaurant there, and if we can get in golf carts and come downtown and let a party spill out on the street, use the restaurants and use the bars and just create some kind of activity through an entertainment zone. I'd like to look into that.
Hardscrabble is a good street for that.
Yes. We wouldn't have to bother with the highway
Right,
that
you don't
time.
have to bother with the highway.
I'd also like to talk to Caltrans and see if there's a way that we can get more than 4 highway closings a year. Why can't we close just a couple blocks on Friday nights? And,
that's all they allow?
And then, that's what I understand, but I don't know if that's a fact. Anyway, that's it for me. Economic development.
Caroline.
You nailed it for me, economic development.
Okay.
Yep.
Kara, any other agenda items? Alvin.
I guess it's an agenda item for me. At the moment, we're a little short-staffed all around. So if department heads could kind of report out, I would be willing to hire help out. I'm just saying weed spraying, blowing off downtown, whatever department heads kind of need a little bit. If we need a little help at this time, we're kind of short in some departments, so I'm willing to help in any way that we can. So.
I agree.
I don't know if that's an agendized thing or something.
Or just direction?
Yeah.
I support that. Any other agenda items? Does the public have any agenda items they'd like to see us look at and discuss? Hearing none?
Move to adjourn.
So wait, I have to look at Sam. Sam, ready? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Michelle?
Michelle?
Shemente.
Aye.
Scott. Berlio.
Nay.
Hey, Michelle! Michelle is the